Chapter 2248. Even though Su-Yi was already a level 7 Origin Grandmaster, he felt as if his meridians and flesh were being torn apart. Su-Yi even felt the Heaven Origin demon soul in his mind twitching as if hundreds of silver needles were poking him continuously. Returning to his bed, Su-Yi began to activate the celestial manipulation chant to extract energy from the thin heaven and earth vitality. Soon, the spiraling divine light shrouded Su-Yi's body once again. A vast ancient charm filled heaven and earth. Amidst the blurry divine light, Su-Yi gradually entered the state of selflessness. It was different from his usual cultivation. Within the great void divine ocean, the cultivation base aura was flowing continuously into his blood vessels. On the other hand, the mysterious ball of light in his spirit ocean had completely transformed into the appearance of the Chaos Ancient Bell. The Chaos Ancient Bell emitted spiritual chi and was surrounded by mysterious talisman light. It was like a prehistoric divine weapon that illuminated the entire spirit ocean. Even Chi Feihong, who was within the Chaos Ancient Bell, could feel an incomparably beautiful feeling. It was as if he was bathing in a spiritual spring and was surrounded by a divine aura. In his soul form, Chi Feihong's light also materialized. Little miss, little miss. After less than an hour, Chi Feihong felt extremely comfortable, and he stretched lazily. Within the Chaos Ancient Bell, the divine light was vast and mighty. The wind and thunder surrounded Chi Feihong's body like a gentle waterfall. At that moment, Chi Feihong suddenly recalled that there was a young lady in Su-Yi's body. Chi Feihong had never noticed any trace of Ling Qianxue when he had been fighting with Su-Yi. After careful consideration, Chi Feihong finally realized that Ling Qianxue was within the Heaven Origin demon soul. Boundless demonic aura was continuously emitted from the Heaven Origin demon soul. It was a desolate and ancient aura that was no less ancient than Su-Yi's. After a long while, there was no reply. Chi Feihong called out again. Whoosh! A strong gust of wind blew. The 9 spirit lynx's face appeared in the strange purple glow of the Heaven Origin demon soul. His amber eyes shone with a dazzling light, and his demonic aura filled the world. Chi Feihong, who had witnessed all of this, was suddenly suppressed by an invisible force. Chi Feihong's heart skipped a beat when he sensed the tremendous soul fluctuations from the Chaos Ancient Bell. Chi Feihong, who had been blown to the ground by the strong wind, rubbed his eyes. When he looked at the Heavenly Origin demon soul again, the surroundings had returned to normal. Where the Tian Yuan demonic soul was, the purple light was dazzling. Its vast aura was mixed with demonic light, as if a divine beast was crouching within. Oh my God, was that the 9 spirit lynx? He panted loudly and finally swallowed his fear. Chi Feihong wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and looked at Su-Yi in disbelief. A true phoenix god and a 9 spirit lynx. How many secrets did this guy have? All of a sudden, Chi Feihong thought of the iron soulfish in the entrance. It had been a long time since it made a sound. Yes, there's another demon. Chi Feihong smiled bitterly as he looked at Su-Yi, who was cultivating. He was utterly impressed. Su-Yi, oh Su-Yi. You said that you're not a demon king. Who else could be a demon king? Which of these people in my body wouldn't be a terrifying character if I let them out? It was peaceful in the Bawang sect, but the entire Chaos territory was in full swing. More and more organizations joined the resistance. After the Blood Sun sect was destroyed, Merciless West led the team to kill everyone. Shi Wuqing's reputation as the suicidal Yama had already spread throughout the Chaos region. Now, the evil rogue cultivators and small forces who used the Long family as an excuse to abuse their power were all terrified. Like a hurricane, the Yama army swept through the entire Chaos territory. What was even more shocking was that the hurricane became stronger and stronger. The King of Heaven's pride, the master of the Chaos territory, quickly spread to every corner of the Chaos territory. Su Yi's Emperor Sparrow's fame was like a rocket that shot into the ears of the great demons hiding in the depths of the 100,000 mountains. Under the lobbying of the 300 great demons, the Emperor Sparrow Demon Venerable became the most terrifying existence in the Chaos Territory. Some people were happy while others were angry. Inside the Brahma Dragon's celestial palace, Draconis sat at the head like a lion in a bloody battle. Long Kuei and Long Tsang sat on the east and west sides with malicious eyes. It was obvious that this meeting was extremely private. Both failed. Draconis sneered as he looked at Long Kuei and Long Tsang. Long Kuei looked at Draconis in disbelief. He dryly recounted Su Yi's deeds of killing Qin Yao, destroying the Nine Stars Valley, destroying the Blood Sun sect, and resisting an origin domain expert. I heard that Su Yi also killed Shangguan Juehu's eldest son, Shangguan Shenjua. Even an origin domain expert is no match for him. Long Kuei sighed and said faintly. Beside him, Long Tsang's eyes suddenly trembled. Resisting an origin domain expert? Impossible. Su Yi was only at the origin ancestor realm during the Tianfeng ranking tournament. How long has it been? He's already at the origin domain realm? Long Tsang glanced at Draconis from time to time as he spoke. Long Tsang looked at the wound on his chest, which had yet to heal, and a cold murderous intent flashed across his eyes. Compared to Su Yi, he was a complete piece of trash. The #1 talent in the Sky Barbarian realm, the future successor of the Dragon Palace, and an 18-year-old origin ancestor realm expert. Compared to Su Yi, it was simply impossible for him to compete with the light of the moon. Enough. Nothing is impossible. I've already said that this kid is even more terrifying than Duanmu Qingtian back then. Draconis's face was gloomy. Endless murderous intent shot out from his fierce eyes as he said coldly, I just didn't expect this kid to grow so quickly. This brat has too many secrets on him. Before we kill him, we must dig out all of his secrets. Long Kuei nodded and quickly walked forward. He said softly, there are indeed many strange things about this kid. He's now the leader of the Chaos region. It's said that his Yuan Qi has taken the form of an Emperor Sparrow. It's a true Phoenix branch bloodline. Phoenix bloodline? Draconis nodded thoughtfully. He looked at Long Tsang and said in a dark voice, Tsang during the battle last time, you said that he wasn't afraid of our Golden Dragon Qi? Long Tsang averted his eyes. It was obvious that the painful experience in the past had caused him extreme pain. He immediately said, Father, yes. At that time, I felt that my Golden Dragon Qi was being suppressed by him. After saying this, Long Tsang was obviously not convinced and turned his head away. Could it be that Su Yi still has the Golden Dragon bloodline? Long Kuei's eyes were filled with shock as he said excitedly. It was simply unbelievable that a person with the Emperor Sparrow's Phoenix bloodline could continue to have the Golden Dragon bloodline. In an instant, Draconis's eyes were no longer calm. His pupils were densely covered with golden patterns and a wave of fanaticism surged in them. Whether or not he has the Golden Dragon bloodline, at least he has something that can suppress our bloodline. I must get Su Yi's secrets. What's our next step? Now, the people in the Chaos region will worship him as the ruler of the Chaos region. The demons will worship him as the Supreme Emperor Sparrow. Long Kuei said seriously. Chapter 2249. Suddenly, Draconis walked down the stairs with a murderous aura. Long Kuei, the paragon of the demon race, don't you think his actions are? Long Kuei's eyes darted around as his dry lips trembled. Tian Yao School? Could this kid be a descendant of the Tian Yao School? No wonder. Just ask the people who annihilated the heavenly demons in Demon Mountain. Didn't the Divine Tiger sect just lose their son? Ask them to go to the Chaos region to capture Su Yi. Draconis sneered cruelly. Long Tsang immediately understood. He rushed forward and said fearfully, Father, leave it to me. I want revenge. Boom. A dragon's roar came from Long Tsang's body. The golden light hit Long Tsang's body like a big handprint. Long Tsang, who had retreated, felt his blood boil. He felt dizzy and his eyes glazed over. Hurry up and go back to cultivate. If you want to kill Sui, you have to cultivate to the Yuan domain state first. How can you call yourself my son, Draconis? In an instant, Long Tsang clutched his chest. His eyes were filled with resentment and disappointment. He got up and pushed the door open listlessly. As soon as he left the Dragon God's room, a bloody mist sprayed out. Long Tsang looked up at the dragon-shaped golden cloud in the sky and gritted his teeth. Why is there a Sui in this world? Sui, one day I will kill you with my own hands. Bang! A golden light flashed under his feet as a dragon shadow flashed in the sky. Long Tsang quickly disappeared. Young Master Long Tsang. A golden wave appeared in the darkness outside the door. It was Long Ye, who had returned from Yunzhou. As the leader of the Long Ben army, no one could find her hiding outside the Dragon God's room. Long Ye frowned as she watched Long Tsang leave through the spatial ripples. At that moment, she no longer cared about Long Tsang. In the dark night, Long Ye pursed her lips lightly, clenched her fists tightly, and said in a low voice, Sui, could it be that we can't avoid meeting each other in the form of a bloody battle? At this time, the Dragon God's voice came from his room again. Long Ye activated her golden dragon bloodline and continued to listen using the unique Long Ben army secret technique. Duanmu Qintian is no longer important. If that old man is willing to wait, then let him wait. However, we can't leave Sui alone. Draconis ordered Long Kue. Go personally to the Divine Tiger sect. If necessary, bring the Heavenly Dragon sect as well. You must dig out the secrets on Sui's body for me. Hearing Draconis's words, Long Kue's eyes showed some hesitation, and he said softly, Yes, Dragon God. This old man admits that he has indeed underestimated this kid. Long Kue continued, Now, this kid has achieved immortality, and his reputation and forces are the best in the history of the Chaos region. If he hides in the Chaos region, it won't be easy to catch him alive. Draconis pondered for a moment and said seriously, Prepare for both sides. The exquisite egg plan will continue as before. Also, you and the Divine Tiger sect will go to the Chaos region to take a look. If it's the Tianyao school, it will be even better. The exquisite egg plan will be even more logical. That demon race territory, and Yunling Feng, I have to go personally to take a look. The road to becoming a god cannot be broken. Once I reach the peak, these people will all die. Draconis's cold voice fell, and the Dragon God's room became silent. Grandfather wants to personally go to the Chaos region to look for Sui? Long Ye's mouth slightly opened when she heard the conversation between Draconis and Grandfather Long Kue. After coming out of the Dragon God's room, her charming and gentle figure was revealed, and her slender skirt looked very elegant under the moonlight. Many Long Ben army guards walked past and greeted Long Ye, but Long Ye ignored them. She returned to her room worriedly, her wavy golden hair draped over her shoulders. She nervously looked at the patterns on the table, lost in thought. This guy, he really doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Long Ye gritted her teeth, the flames in her eyes gradually transformed into Sui's appearance. That day, the scene of Sui fighting against the Long family's experts and completely protecting the Upper Dragon Village was still vivid in her mind. Long Ye's two slender hands supported her cheeks, and her slightly flushed skin looked like apricots. She faintly said, That guy is so smart, I even gave him the dragon armor geomancy map. He should know what I mean, right? Long Ye's eyes slightly moved, and countless worries burst out from her eyes. She whispered in a low voice, This time, unifying the Chaos region, how can this kind of achievement not attract attention? Dragon God sent Grandfather, and those two top forces, can Sui survive? Long Ya's white teeth were pressed against her lips, and she suddenly stood up, supporting herself on the table. No matter what, Long Ya felt that she had to go to the Chaos region to take a look. Her heart suddenly moved, and her grandfather might be the best opportunity for the dragon god to send him. No matter what, there were many things waiting to be done, and the Chaos region must be very fragile. Long Ya had to prevent Su-Yi from this disaster no matter what. Long Ya's delicate body instantly trembled when she heard an old voice behind her. As if it was an instinctive reaction, Long Ya tucked her hair behind her ears and looked at the source of the voice. Long Kuei's figure gradually walked out of the ripples in space. Long Ya's heart was on tenterhooks, and just when she thought that Long Kuei had heard her muttering, Long Kuei's kind voice slowly fell. What were you thinking about just now? No, nothing. Long Ya's heart heaved a sigh of relief as she replied. Looking at Long Ya's somewhat awkward expression, Long Kuei laughed heartily, sat down, and picked up a cup of tea to drink. Seeing this, Long Ya also sat down. Long Kuei said faintly, "Even if you don't say it, I know that you are thinking about young Master Long Song, right?" Long Ya's eyes widened, and she looked at Long Kuei's kind smile in disbelief. She was so nervous that she could not speak. "Humph, you little girl, do you think I don't know what you have been thinking since you were young? But young Master Long Song is still young, and I'm afraid that your marriage will take a few years before I can ask the Dragon God on your behalf." No need. Grandfather, don't worry about me. I also feel that it is still too early. Moreover, I only have a brotherly relationship with young Master Long Song. After saying this, Long Ya suddenly thought of that man's face in her mind and her face turned red. Long Kuei's eyes moved slightly, and there seemed to be a cold light that could see through everything. He said faintly, "Fine. I came to look for you late at night because I have to go out. You have to be obedient in the Dragon Palace." "Grandfather, where are you going?" Long Ya was halfway through her sentence when she saw Long Kuei's angry eyes, and she instantly shut her mouth. Long Kuei patted Long Ya gently with his withered hand and smiled again. You can't be as reckless as you were last time. You also suffered a lot during the trip to Yunzhou. You also know how dangerous it is out there. I know, grandfather. I will be obedient. Chapter 2250. As she watched Long Kuei leave, Long Ya felt a sense of loss. She stared at the closed door and felt as if she had been hit by a rock. That's weird. Why was I thinking of that guy just now? Shouldn't I be happy that grandfather brought up young Master Long Song? Phew. Long Ya touched her burning cheeks and shook her head. She got rid of all distracting thoughts and said, "Forget it. I must go to the Chaos region." At this time, when Long Kuei went out, a strong team of Dragon Guard was stationed around Long Ya's room. "Everyone, listen up. Your is not allowed to go out during this period of time. Anyone who disobeys will be killed without mercy," Long Kuei said coldly. Yes. The soldiers obeyed. Dragon shadows circled around and dozens of Origin Ancestor Realm experts went into hiding. On the third day, Su-Yi finally came out of the sect leader's room. Su-Yi stood up straight, and a mighty ancient aura surged out from his body. His eyes flashed with a sharp light. Su-Yi smiled faintly. After 2 days of cultivating the art of controlling the heavens, Su-Yi could clearly feel that his soul cultivation had reached a new level. It had reached the beginner rank 5. In terms of martial cultivation, it could be compared to a level 1 Origin Ancestor Realm expert. Su-Yi stretched his body. The cool mountain breeze whistled past him. He took a deep breath of fresh air and was filled with joy. Although he had been focusing on martial cultivation, he had delayed the cultivation of his soul. A beginner rank 5 soul cultivation was slightly lacking compared to the top experts who specialized in soul cultivation. However, Su-Yi had the Chaos Ancient Bell left behind by the Demon King. With this alone, he had already surpassed everyone by several times. The sun was setting in the west, and the setting sun was as red as blood. Colorful divine clouds covered the sky, and the bloody aura in the sky had already dissipated. The splendid Bawang sect was filled with auspicious aura and holy light. It was like a miracle. Intertwining clouds floated everywhere, and spiritual birds spread their wings. They seemed to have returned because of the new atmosphere of the Bawang sect. Su Yi's eyes were clear as he looked down from the sky. The tyrant's square at the foot of the mountain had already been cleaned up. Although there were still many incomplete areas, it was already the greatest limit that Nangong Ningyue and the others could achieve. So, flames flickered as if a divine bird was descending from the sky. Terrifying spatial ripples appeared behind Su Yi, creating a huge shockwave. Arriving at the Overlord's plaza, Nangong Ningyu and Huang Jian were still repairing day and night. Looking at how busy they were, Su Yi smiled in his heart. Even if it was broken, the Bawang sect in front of him could still be used for other purposes in the future. What about the others? Su Yi looked at Nangong Ningyue. Hearing the sound, they turned their heads and found that it was Su Yi. Nangong Ningyu and Huang Jian immediately saluted. Nangong Ningyue cracked a smile and said with a smile, "Sect Master, you came out of closed seclusion? Grandpa Ginseng and Lord Bodhi Immortal have been busy treating the wounded for the past 2 days. Elder Lei and Lord Impermanence are taking inventory of the Bawang sect's remaining supplies. They should be back soon." Yes, Lord Impermanence said that she was afraid that the Bawang sect wouldn't be able to stay in the future. She wanted to take advantage of the time before Sect Master came out of closed seclusion to deal with these matters. Huang Jian moved his left shoulder. His left arm was empty and slightly empty. Su Yi nodded and the corners of his mouth curled up. In this world, if there were any elders who understood him, it would only be Lord Merciless West and Impermanence Fairy. His eyes moved slightly as he sized up Huang Jian and Nangong Ningyue. Su Yi frowned slightly. "Elder Huang, how is your shoulder recovering?" "It's not a big deal. It's just a little uncomfortable. Speaking of which, it's because my cultivation is low that I couldn't help the sect." Huang Jian smiled bitterly. His right hand kept rubbing his left shoulder as he looked at Huang Jian with some shame. "Yes, Sect Master. Such an important matter occurred in the sect this time. Ningyue can only deal with the aftermath. Ningyue is ashamed." As they spoke, Huang Jian and Nangong Ningyue were about to bow, but they were lifted up by Su Yi. "You two, what are you talking about? I'm not in the sect for a long time, so I need you two to take care of all the matters. Your energy is limited, so it's normal that you can't take care of your cultivation. Speaking of which, it's also my fault. Both of you are martial artists, and your cultivation is the key to saving your lives in times of crisis." Subsequently, Su Yi's gaze moved as he looked at Nangong Ningyue and said in a serious voice, "Ningyue, you're only at the 9th level of the Origin Void stage now. In the future, the Bawang sect will only encounter a situation that's even more difficult than this. I'll think of a way to greatly increase your cultivation. Also, Elder Huang, it's not impossible to regrow a severed arm. I'll help you inquire about the severed arm method from the Command Heaven Palace." "Thank you, Sect Master." Huang Jian and Nangong Ningyue looked at each other, then their eyes shone brightly as they were excited and moved. "Right, is there any news from Big Brother and the others?" Su Yi asked indifferently. It had been 3 days since Merciless West separated from him. The Chaos region was incomparably vast, but a single spark was enough to start a prairie fire, so any news should spread quickly. Nangong Ningyue nodded, and there was an unconcealable excitement on her face as she said, "Sect Master, Lord Merciless West led an army of 10,000 people and subdued all the large and small sects in the Chaos region within 3 days. They're probably on their way back to the sect now." "That's right. It's the first time I've seen that old man work so efficiently in the past few decades. Impermanence Fairy's voice slowly drifted out from behind. Sue glanced sideways at Impermanence Fairy, who was slowly walking over. He was also full of energy, and his eyes were filled with excitement as he said with a smile, "Sister Han seems to be very happy as well." Impermanence Fairy covered her mouth, chuckled, and said softly, "Running around outside is better than letting that old man drink in the Bawang sect every day." Immediately, Su Yi's eyes sank and a strong killing intent surged out from him as he said faintly, "I'm afraid that there won't be such leisurely days in the future." Impermanence Fairy's face also sank as she said softly, "I've already explored the surrounding terrain of the Bawang sect. There's no suitable land for the expansion of the Bawang sect's migration." Impermanence Fairy had already helped him plan out his recent plans. Su Yi said with a smile, "The Chaos region is so big, there's bound to be a place. Big Brother should be back in 2 days. Let's go back and wait for the good news." After saying that, everyone prepared to go back to the conference hall. Suddenly, a violent thunderclap sounded from the horizon. Boom! The sky collapsed, the earth caved in, and the mountains shook. The entire multicolored sky instantly turned gloomy, and a pitch-black space crack suddenly formed out of thin air. Thunder rumbled, and the gloomy sky revealed a strange atmosphere. With the arrival of a great battle, the obscure tension infected everyone in the Bawang Square. Whoosh! The sound of thunder resounded through the clouds, and above the void, the clouds suddenly surged, covering the light. Waves of aura surged, and there was more than one. They covered the sky and earth like a deep vortex. Chapter 2251. Behind the spatial crack, there seemed to be numerous beasts crawling and galloping, causing people to tremble in fear. "Everyone be on guard!" Impermanence Fairy's sharp voice resounded through the sky. A vast hidden aura filled the world, causing everyone to become nervous for no reason. "Sect Master, is it a remnant evil? Or is it someone from the Long family?" Nangong Ningyue looked at the surging aura in the sky, her eyes filled with caution. In an instant, Su Yi placed his hands behind his back, and a wild and desolate aura surged out. His dignified gaze moved slightly as he looked at the pitch-black spatial crack in the sky that was constantly expanding. His face changed from vigilance to joy, as if he had discovered something. Roar! In an instant, a ferocious sonic boom came from the spatial crack. The pitch-black spatial crack became bigger and bigger, and a terrifying energy swept through the Bawang sect's void like a storm. Countless barbaric beasts bared their fangs and claws in the pitch-black spatial crack, as if they were summoned and didn't come out. The roars were endless, and the demonic aura of heaven and earth was rampant. At this moment, the Bawang sect was like a world of demons. All kinds of monstrous and terrifying demonic aura filled the air, causing the entire Bawang sect to be in a desolate world. "This is..." Nangong Ningyue, including Huang Jian, and all the disciples of the Bawang sect looked at the scene in front of them, and their pupils shrunk. In their opinion, they had always been in the human world, so how could they have seen so many demonic beasts? Moreover, they were terrifying demonic beasts with such high cultivation. "Big Brother, are you still not coming out?" In the sky, Su Yi smiled and suddenly let out a sharp phoenix cry. "GG!" The illusionary figure of the Emperor Sparrow unfolded behind Su Yi, and a huge courtyard of divine light occupied half of the Bawang sect, directly confronting the demonic beasts that filled the sky. Bang! The aura of the Emperor Sparrow was fierce, and flames were burning on its body. The huge roar was like the call of an ancient god. Its fiery eyes shone, as if it could burn all the filth in the world with a single glance. In an instant, under the huge power, the barbaric beasts in the spatial crack all quieted down. In the face of such an ancient and gigantic divine beast, the eyes of all the savage beasts trembled. Even their souls started to tremble. The ferocious and terrifying aura from before was instantly suppressed. From the astonished gazes, it could be seen that these demonic beasts were all here to pay homage to the divine beast Emperor Sparrow. You brat! You have no idea how much these Yao Beast brothers want to see your true appearance. A maniacal laughter rang out as Merciless West emerged from the pitch-black crevice. Merciless West, whose face was flushed with excitement, quickly rushed out. Everyone present was instantly affected by her heroic spirit. At this time, Impermanence Fairy had also flown high into the sky. She frowned and said, "So what if you're back? Is it fun to scare people? You old pervert." Merciless West immediately retracted her expression. Right now, there were still tens of thousands of savage beasts staring at her. She lowered her voice and said, "These savage beasts heard that Su-Yi is the great Emperor Sparrow Demon Lord and all wanted to come and see. Only when they witness it with their own eyes will they submit completely." After saying that, Merciless West looked pitifully at Impermanence Fairy and her voice became even weaker. "How many savage beasts are there?" Su-Yi's eyes trembled as he looked at the dense mass of beasts in the pitch-black crevice. There were at least a few thousand of them that had yet to transform into human form. There are at least tens of thousands of them. They are the leaders of the savage beasts that are scattered in the mountains of the Chaos Territory. Adding all the branches together, there are at least 1,000,000 savage beasts in the Chaos Territory. Merciless West's eyes were filled with excitement. There are so many of them. Su-Yi couldn't help but be filled with shock. However, in an instant, he was faced with a difficult problem. If he stuffed all the savage beasts in front of him into the Bawang sect, the small Bawang sect would explode. "Big brother, hurry up and ask the Green Emperor to screen out all the demon experts who are above the Demon Emperor stage. Everyone who is here is a guest. However, the Bawang sect can no longer pretend to be a guest. Let those experts who are still in their original form rest near the Bawang sect. Let the demon emperors of the Heavenly Demon Temple go over and serve them well." At this moment, Su-Yi was experiencing a blissful headache. He was originally a landlord, but he did not have any extra food. Su-Yi was overjoyed that so many people had come at once. However, he was also having a terrible headache. Merciless West nodded and looked at Su-Yi with a troubled expression. Then, she looked at the foot of the Bawang sect. Hey! It was another large group of people, all of them marching along the Overlord sect's mountain path. They were like a black whirlwind, causing the Overlord sect's disciples to be shocked once again. "King of Geniuses, all the rogue cultivators in the Chaos Realm are here to pay a visit. Black Sword Sect, Lyoha Sect requests to join the Bawang Sect. How is the King of Geniuses resting? The King of Geniuses has unified the Chaos Realm. We are here to pay our respects to you. All the disciples of the Tsangyun Palace are here to pay a visit. We request to meet you." The huge group of people came one after another. Even the ground of the Bawang sect was shaking, the mountains were shaking, and people's souls were throbbing. What about these people? Su-Yi could clearly feel 3 black lines on his forehead. Merciless West curled her lips and looked down the mountain. She said helplessly, "They are divided into 2 groups. I have screened out these warriors. They are all leaders of different territories and forces. There are at least a few thousand of them. Boy, the total number of people in the Chaos Realm is 7 to 8 million. Suddenly, Su-Yi could not stay calm anymore. He looked at Merciless West in disbelief and said, "They all submitted?" Happiness came too suddenly. Could it be that the Chaos Realm was unified? Poor farmers became rich? A small sect with only a few 100,000 people became a super force with 8 to 9 million people in an instant? Buzz. If Su-Yi did not have a strong mind and soul, he would have been overjoyed and cheered. Even so, he could not help but nod. Great! That's great! Su-Yi's eyes lit up. He then said to Merciless West and Wuchang Fairy, "The human warriors will be left to Sister Han. The savage beasts will be left to the Green Emperor and Big Brother. The Bawang sect will be hosting a banquet tonight. Tomorrow morning, the heroes will pay a visit. Tomorrow morning, the heroes will pay a visit. Su Yi's voice resounded through the sky. The vast and empty Bawang sect was instantly filled with endless echoes. Okay. The two of them accepted the order and went down the mountain and into the crack. The sky and the earth were filled with jubilation. All the warriors who came to the banquet looked at Su Yi's Emperor Sparrow's shadow. Their blood and fighting spirit were ignited. Everyone came to visit the Bawang sect. It was enough to show that the Chaos Realm, which was originally a plate of loose sand, had united and become an inseparable whole. That night, Su Yi and the people of the Bawang sect opened up a path in the mountain range, allowing the human warriors and savage beasts to gather together. Chapter 2252. Humans and beasts drinking to their heart's content, toasting each other and chatting merrily. Such a scene was probably unparalleled in the world. However, everyone who experienced tonight was filled with respect for Su Yi, this young sect master who wasn't even 20 years old. Apart from the Tianfeng Martial Pavilion and the Tian Yao School from 10,000 years ago, perhaps only the Bawang sect was able to make humans and beasts live in harmony. Emperor Sparrow, Demon Venerable Emperor, Heaven's Pride King, after a night of celebration, they all converged into the same title. Chaos Region Master. The next day, the sky was clear and the air was clear. The Bawang sect welcomed its big day. After a night of feasting, Su Yi woke up especially early today. He specially changed into the flame-patterned robe that Nangong Ningyue had prepared for him. A bright golden phoenix holding a sword was engraved on his upper body. Under the illumination of the golden sun, it was overflowing with light and color. It was as if a god had descended with an extraordinary aura. When he pushed open the door of the conference hall, a golden sun shone through the eaves. He slightly frowned. The phoenix on his chest was like a living creature that was refracted into the void. The fiery radiance illuminated the world. A majestic aura raised the aura of the Bawang sect to the peak. "Welcome, Lord Master." A voice like a tsunami rushed into the sky. The ferocious aura was like rolling waves that could devour all living things in the world. The terrifying sound waves engulfed the world. It was as if an ancient giant beast was emitting a terrifying energy, causing people's hearts to palpitate. Looking at the tyrant's square full of people, Su Yi's eyes narrowed. He turned to Merciless West behind him, and said in surprise, "After the screening, there are still so many people?" Merciless West helplessly nodded and said, "There are a total of 15,000 humans and beasts here. Adding all of them together, there are a total of 1,400,000 people. No matter how we screen these people, we can't screen them out." Immediately after, Su Yi took a deep breath. A majestic aura surged out. A domineering aura surged from his forehead. "Everyone rise!" Voila! Everyone stood up. Just the 15,000 experts from the Chaos Realm alone were enough to shake the heavens and earth. They could pluck the sun, moon, and stars with their hands, and trample the 9 heavens and 10 lands with their feet. Su Yi saw Jiao Tian, Xie Wushu, and Shi Susu standing at the head of the group as he looked at the countless gazes filled with longing and respect. As the Bawang sect's former number 1 power, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Even if the disciples of the headquarters were killed, the disciples of the Blue Cloud Hall's branches, which were spread all over the major cities of the Chaos Domain, were still a terrifying number. 9th Sect Master, Elder Xie, you're here too. Su Yi's eyes lit up, and his vigorous voice mixed with Yuan Qi spread out in all directions. Suddenly, Jiao Tian's eyes were filled with respect. He and Xie Wu Su looked at each other, then bowed towards Su Yi. Jiao Tian's voice was deep and resounding like a large bell. He had already recovered the strength of a peak sky origin master and said in high spirits, "Sect Master Su, if you had not intervened this time, the Green Cloud Hall would not be here today to worship. You're exaggerating, Ninth Sect Master. Sui frowned. The Green Cloud Hall was once the #1 power, so Sui naturally did not want Jiao Aotian to lose face. He looked at Shirsusu, who was standing quietly at the side, and Xie Wushu's voice rose again. Sect Master Su, you don't have to be so modest. The Green Cloud Hall's arrival today has already expressed our intentions. The Green Cloud Hall has always been known as the #1 power in the Chaos Domain, but who would have thought that this time, we would not be able to set an example? We are ashamed to be the #1 power in the Chaos Domain, and we are ashamed to be the heroes of the Chaos Domain. Elder Xie, you're exaggerating. Suddenly, the tens of thousands of experts in the Chaos Domain looked at the Green Cloud Hall with respect. It was not easy for the Green Cloud Hall to lower themselves like this. Looking at it from another angle, only Su Yi's unparalleled meritorious deeds could exchange for Blue Cloud Palace's submission. The entire place was silent, and even the great demons looked at the Green Cloud Hall in unison. At this moment, Jiao Aotian stood up, his gaze extremely solemn. He looked at Su Yi and said, Sect Master Su, the Green Cloud Hall has been in the Chaos Domain for thousands of years and has always been #1. But today I will break this rule. From now on, all the disciples of the Green Cloud Hall will respect the Bawang sect. I swear in the name of the sect master that the Green Cloud Hall will never fight for the #1 position in the Chaos Domain. Wow! The entire place was in an uproar, and all the martial artists began to discuss spiritedly. The Green Cloud Hall was so magnanimous. If the Green Cloud Hall did not obstruct them, the Bawang sect would soon soar in the Chaos Domain. In front of the meeting hall, Su Yi, Merciless West, and the others were also shocked. They did not expect the Green Cloud Hall to go to this extent. The Bawang sect's era is finally here. Merciless West's face was red. When Su Yi told him that he was going to create a sect that was even more awesome than the Sacred Mountain, he thought it was a child's joke. Now, looking at it again, it was already a reality. The ambition of a sovereign will not disappoint the youth. Impermanence Fairy smiled and looked at Su Yi, her eyes full of joy. Ninth Sect Master, since that's the case, the Bawang sect will also give you a solemn promise. Although the Green Cloud Hall belongs to the Bawang sect, it will have absolute autonomy. The Bawang sect will also give one of its vice sect masters' position to you. Su Yi looked at Jiao Aotian, and the words that came out of his mouth were like pearls, carrying unparalleled power. Since the Green Cloud Hall had given him enough face, the Bawang sect naturally knew how to behave. The Green Cloud Hall had always been conceited. Even if the upper echelons were willing to submit, it was inevitable that the entangled branches would have other thoughts. However, as long as they submitted, it would be easy to soften and appease them. Following the gradual strengthening of the Overlord sect, the years of intermingling with each other, the autonomy of the Blue Cloud Hall would also cease to exist. However, at this moment, Su Yi had completely preserved the face of the Green Cloud Hall. The reason why he allowed it to be independent was because of the Green Cloud Hall's enormous strength. As soon as he finished speaking, Merciless West and Impermanence Fairy both looked at him with admiration and said seriously, "This kid's methods are getting better and better. Green Cloud Hall, submit to Xinyue." Suddenly, Jiao Aotian and Xie Wusu's eyes were filled with tears as they led the Green Cloud Hall to kneel in front of Su Yi. Orderly sounds of worship resounded through the sky, shaking the heavens and earth. Lord of the Chaos region, the Green Cloud Hall wholeheartedly submits. Since the Green Cloud Hall had already submitted, the human martial artists and great demons who had already submitted also began to worship. The waves of people came one after another, and after the simple ceremony, Su Yi, as the sect master, gave a speech to all the powerhouses. When there were too many people, it would be troublesome to manage. According to the original plan of 6 halls and 1 palace, Su Yi still put all the human martial artists into the 6 halls. Since they had submitted to the Bawang sect, the original sect masters and sects were all disrupted and incorporated into the various halls according to the martial artists' characteristics. Chapter 2253. All the barbaric beasts present, which numbered at least a few thousand, were incorporated into the heavenly beast temple. Currently, the only thing the Bawang sect could do was register these people and beasts. As for the descendants of the beasts, they could only be managed by the beasts themselves. The Bawang sect was not responsible for managing them one by one. This way, the 6 halls and 1 temple could still be used. The only difference was that the scale had reached a terrifying level. The entire Chaos Realm was under the command of the Bawang sect. Every hall had a terrifying number of over 1 million people. In other words, every hall was comparable to a second-rate faction. What was even more terrifying was that this did not take into account the core forces that were scattered outside. The Bawang sect had now become another superpower in addition to the 6 continents, 3 continents, and 1 ocean. Sitting in the meeting hall and flipping through the list of registered experts, Su Yi's heart was filled with lofty aspirations. The entire Chaos Realm had reached the peak. This unprecedented peak made Su Yi's heart filled with yearning for the future. At this moment, Su Yi wanted nothing more than to immediately gather everyone and have a life-and-death battle with the Long family. However, logic told him that the faster one climbed, the higher one climbed. If he was not careful, he would fall miserably. Everything was ready for the Bawang sect, but there were also many things waiting to be done. After knowing the scale of the Bawang sect, Su Yi once again gathered all the members of the Bawang sect together. Within the Bawang sect, Shi Susu also stood with everyone. The vice-sect master position that the Blue Cloud Hall had recommended was naturally Shi Susu. They wanted her to stay in the Bawang sect for a long time and help Su Yi manage the Bawang sect on behalf of the Blue Cloud Hall. Firstly, using the future number 1 person of the Blue Cloud Hall as an assistant to the Bawang sect would fully display the Blue Cloud Hall's sincerity. Secondly, it would also give Shi Susu a chance to become the sect master in advance. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Su Yi. Everyone's faces were flushed with excitement. From the looks of it, each and every one of them was like a rich man who had become rich overnight. They were so happy that they were about to ascend to the heavens. Old Lei, are you satisfied with the strength of the current members of Soul Hall? Su Yi smiled faintly. Originally, among the 6 halls and 1 palace, the Soul Hall had withered and had few people. Excluding the core forces of the Soul Hall, there were at least 8 or 9,000 disciples in the Soul Hall. Su Yi believed that under Lei Yunhe's guidance, this powerful force would definitely become an extremely terrifying combat strength. Satisfied. Thanks to the sect leader's grace, this old man now has a successor. Lei Yunhe bared his yellow teeth, and a complacent smile hung on his wrinkled skin. Quick, pinch me. Is it true? Why do I feel like I'm dreaming? Lei Yunhe said to Huang Jian. Instantly, everyone burst into laughter. Following that, Su Yi looked at Elder Lei and said softly, over at Yutian Palace's side, I'll get them to interact more with us. Compared to the martial Dao, the path of soul arts requires more guidance. Boss Lei, don't worry. Thank you, sect leader. Hearing this, Lei Yunhe's face flushed red and he jumped up in excitement. Back then, Lei Yunhe wanted to enter Yutian Palace, but he did not have the chance. Now, with Su Yi's help, he could actually interact with Yutian Palace's soul arts. This was something that he could not even dream of. Following the right leader and standing on the right team was a wise thing to do. Where's Jin Tang? Are you about to explode? Su Yi turned to Wang Zhenquan, the miser, with a smile on his face. Wang Zhenquan smiled even more eagerly than Lei Yunhe. Like a rich man, he laughed foolishly and bowed, reporting to the sect leader. Just the tributes from the various factions in the Chaos region are already an astronomical figure. If Chen Yao attacks again, the 10,000 demons refining God array can hold on for 3 to 5 years without a problem. Hearing this, everyone present was shocked. Good heavens, this is how to get rich. That's good. You can distribute the crystals and martial skills appropriately. The more people there are, the more you need to plan carefully and distribute reasonably. Let the Bawang sect last for eternity. Su Yi nodded and said, displaying the bearing of a sect leader fully. Yes. Everyone nodded their heads one after another, casting extremely respectful gazes towards Su Yi. The current Su Yi was young and promising. There was a dignified air of a leader between his brows, bringing about an overbearing aura. With Su Yi around, it was akin to having a backbone, making people feel incomparably at ease. Following that, Su Yi gave instructions to the Shadow Hall, Disciplinary Hall, Martial Hall, and Outer Hall one by one. When everyone finished listening, their gazes when looking at Su Yi were even more amazed. No one could have thought that Su Yi would actually have such meticulous thinking and extremely deep considerations. Such wisdom was not something a 20-year-old youth could possess. Suddenly, Su Yi stood up and finally looked at the Green Emperor, the Golden Fire Beast King, and the rest. He said softly, "Green Emperor, this time you have foresight. The Bawang sect is indebted to you. I want to thank you. Sect leader, you're too kind. I only did what I should do," Green Emperor said in fear and trepidation, waving his hand. Su Yi waved his hand and said to everyone, "Now, I should also tell everyone what I have in mind." Suddenly, everyone listened attentively to Su Yi's next words. According to the original structure of the Bawang sect, the daily arrangement should be 2 factions, 6 halls, and 1 palace. On the basis of the 2 factions, there was the Shadow Hall, Martial Hall, Disciplinary Hall, Metal Hall, Soul Hall, Outer Hall, and Heavenly Demon Temple. However, in a state of war, Su Yi would divide the 6 halls and 1 palace into the Overlord Legion and the Heavenly Demon Legion. The Overlord Legion was formed by human martial artists. According to the characteristics of martial artists, they could be divided into Martial Ancestor and Soul Ancestor. The Heavenly Demon Legion was formed by the Heavenly Demon Temple's great demons and their distribution. When the original Bawang sect was not as large as it was now, it had already been arranged according to this plan. Now that the Bawang sect was so terrifying, it was even more necessary to secretly prepare for war with this plan. Once the war with the Long family started, the Bawang sect would immediately be put to use. Now, the Soul Ancestors' core is in the Imperial Palace, and the Martial Ancestors' core is in the Demon Subduing sect. The Bawang sect's people in the Chaos territory have to strengthen their cultivation. When fighting, the Imperial Palace and the Demon Subduing sect will be the leaders. Su Yi's voice was deep and mixed with vitality. It carried a majestic, domineering aura. "Yes, sect leader." In an instant, everyone present responded loudly. While they were happy, they also felt the urgency of time. The Heavenly Demon Legion will be divided into 4 battalions. They are the Golden Flame Vanguard Battalion, the Green Emperor's War Strategy Battalion, the Yin Yang Immortal Battalion, and the Heavenly Demon War Spirit Battalion. Hearing this, the Golden Flame Beast King, the Green Emperor, and the Yin Yang Immortal Twins looked at each other and knelt on one knee before Su Yi. "Yes, Heavenly Demon Legion. The Green Emperor will be the sect leader of the Heavenly Demon Temple, and the Beast Emperors will be the protectors of the Heavenly Demon Temple. The arrangement of the 4 battalions and the distribution of the personnel will be decided by the few of you. Golden Flame, do you agree?" Su Yi smiled. The Golden Flame Beast King was respected by his strength. He was the only demon in the Bawang sect. When he was called out by Su Yi, he also trembled. "Of course, sect leader, what you said is what I am thinking." Chapter 2254 That's good. The cultivation of these brothers and sisters depends on you. Sui turned to look at the Green Emperor and the others. Suddenly, the Green Emperor and the other Beast Emperors looked at the super strong man from outside the realm with shock in their eyes. They had already submitted to him and said in unison, "Big brother." The Beast Emperors were excited and their voices soared to the sky. At this time, the Merciless West's two models were very popular and naturally agreed with Su Yi's arrangement. She said, "Boy, there's still the last camp. Why is it called the Heavenly Devil Battle Spirit Camp? You haven't arranged it yet?" Everyone looked at Su Yi. Every camp was arranged so well. Why did he only leave the last camp empty? Do you know why I called it the Heavenly Devil Temple? Su Yi sighed and sat back in his chair with a trace of hatred in his eyes. Everyone was shocked as they looked at Su Yi's murderous face. They couldn't help but be shocked. After the Merciless West heard about what happened at Tian Yao School and Yao Luo Mountain, she was full of anger and murderous intent. Damn it! The Long family is doing evil every day. I'll kill them sooner or later. Kill the Long family. In an instant, everyone present was full of murderous intent and a fierce aura lingered in the air. The boiling murderous intent and demonic aura directly shattered the floating curtains. It's been more than 4 years. The agreement with the Kanglan City mayor is coming soon. Su Yi put his hands behind his back and looked very gloomy. Hearing that there was a group of brothers and sisters like this, the Green Emperor and the others looked at Su Yi seriously and said, "Sect leader, why don't I go and pick them up for you?" Shaking his chin, Su Yi smiled and said in a low voice, "No, I'll go back to Man City and pick up Shiwei and the others." Turning around, Su Yi's bright eyes were full of vigor. The aura around his body was fierce, and he said to everyone, "Go do your own things. Bring the Bawang sect to the peak of eternity." Yes. Inside the meeting hall, everyone was in high spirits as they cheered and cheered. A large area of space rippled for no reason. Everyone knew that the Bawang sect reigned supreme in the Chaos Zone. According to Su Yi's plan, the Bawang sect began to operate again in an orderly manner. Every department began to operate in full swing. What outsiders didn't know was that the Bawang sect, which was full of vitality, was actually filled with murderous intent. 2 ferocious legions were thriving. Time flowed like sand, and soon, half a month had passed. The Bawang sect was completely stabilized. During this period of time, Su Yi had nothing to do, so he went to the sect master's back mountain to cultivate. At the same time, the Green Emperor and other core beast emperors, as well as Nangong Ningyue and the others, would enter the primal chaos ancient bell to train. However, Su Yi could not stay in the Bawang sect forever. On this day, after Su Yi had finished leading everyone in their cultivation, Su Yi, Impermanence Fairy, and Merciless West discussed for a while and decided to go to various parts of the Chaos Zone to look for a place. Currently, all the people who had pledged their allegiance were still in their respective regions. None of them had been brought into the Bawang sect. In the long run, the people's hearts would scatter, which was definitely not a solution. After leaving the Bawang sect, Su Yi, Merciless West, and Impermanence Fairy followed the mountain range and flew around the Chaos Zone. After passing through streams, valleys, and several mountains, Su Yi looked up and found that he had arrived at the Golden Dragon's secret realm. Su Yi raised his eyebrows and said to Merciless West and Impermanence Fairy, "These days, in order to find a place for the Bawang sect, I actually delayed this matter." Merciless West was startled. This place was surrounded by mountains and lush vegetation. It was indeed a good place to nourish one's health. In the distance, the cries of beasts and birds could be heard. The spring water in the forest sang happily. The heaven and earth energy here was much more abundant than in the Feng family village. The Golden Dragon's secret realm is actually here. Impermanence Fairy looked around with a hint of surprise in her eyes. Looking at the exotic flowers and plants around them, they found that it was too beautiful to behold. Faint energy threads swayed in the air, making it look like a hazy paradise. Both of them nodded in agreement. This is a good place. Merciless West's eyes were full of admiration. She found a big tree, opened a wine jug, and drank to her heart's content. The three of them had a unique tacit understanding in their eyes. Su-yi smiled and said, "It looks like Draconis did not destroy this place. Let me see if the five-clawed golden dragon is still safe." Boom! A tyrannical wave of air was instantly released from his body. The sound of the golden dragon whistled out from Su-yi's surroundings. The air around Su-yi transformed into the shape of a golden dragon, traversing heaven and earth and stepping on the void. In the sky, Su-yi was like a young god wearing a golden armor with dragon patterns. The dragon patterns filled the air, and the lifelike shadow of a dragon circled heaven and earth, waving its tail in the air. In an instant, the majestic golden dragon aura forced Impermanence Fairy and Merciless West to retreat by 1,000 meters. They looked up at the sky in awe. Chi-la! The clear sky was suddenly filled with turbulent winds and clouds. Purple lightning flashed, circling back and forth above Su-yi's head. Dazzling divine patterns rolled down. Su-yi, who had opened his arms, completely released the golden dragon aura. The mountains and rivers trembled slightly, and energy surged out like a flood, shaking and tearing the void around them apart. Roar! With the last roar of the golden dragon, the shadow exploded in the air. The golden light that filled the sky turned into fragments that fell out of the sky and merged with the grass. In the sky and on the ground, divine light lingered. It was like a primordial world. How is it? Merciless West and Impermanence Fairy raised their spirits and prepared to meet him. Su-yi, who was slowly landing on the ground, frowned and looked around in disbelief. His eyes were full of confusion. When Impermanence Fairy saw this, she immediately gave Merciless West a look. Based on Su-yi's situation, something must have happened. Immediately, the two of them stood far away between the mountains and rivers, looking at Su-yi on the ground, not daring to say anything. How is this possible? Could it be that Long Xiang has already breached the Golden Dragon's secret realm? Su-yi raised his eyelids and looked at the sky. He said seriously, "Impossible!" In the void, the shattered Golden Dragon's shadow lingered faintly. Su-yi muttered to himself thoughtfully. Soon after, he activated the Supreme Origin technique and closed his eyes. His spiritual consciousness fell into complete silence. In an instant, heaven and earth seemed to have stopped. Even the sound of breathing seemed so noisy at this moment. The mountain wind blew gently. In the distance, Su-yi stood straight. Golden light filled the air, bright and dazzling. It seems that something has really happened in the Golden Dragon Mystery Realm. Merciless West curled her lips and was a little worried. Impermanence Fairy also frowned and looked at Su-yi worriedly. We are not familiar with this place. Su-yi has the Golden Dragon bloodline. Only he can sense it. If Draconis really took the last bit of the Golden Dragon bloodline, old man, this battle will be difficult. Humph. Do you think I'm afraid of him? I'll live and die with him. Merciless West rolled her eyes and opened the wine pot to drink. At the same time, a shocking dragon roar resounded in the sky. Merciless West jumped forward and spilled all the wine. The two of them looked at Su-yi in surprise. They saw that Su-yi still did not move. His eyes were closed, and the light and shadow were ethereal, as if he had escaped from his body. Chapter 2255. The dragon's shadow circled in the air, and golden light filled the dragon's eyes. The endless dragon's aura seemed to be calling out to its main body. His robes fluttered behind him, and the sound of the wind soon disappeared in the dragon's roar. Roar! The golden dragon roared, and the ferocious dragon's roar reverberated through heaven and earth. Row after row of spatial ripples shook the space apart. At this moment, the golden dragon's shadow behind Su-yi had already expanded to more than 1,000 meters. Surrounding Su-yi's body, The golden light that penetrated the heavens and the earth was like an ancient golden dragon entrenched between heaven and earth. The dragon's head was high, and its roar was like the sound of Sanskrit chanting. Soon, the echo caused Su-yi to open his eyes instantly. His pitch-black eyelashes fluttered rapidly, and a dazzling golden dragon pattern flashed across his eyes. The moment he opened his eyes, the golden dragon soared into the sky, and a destructive dragon's roar came from Su-yi's throat. Boom! The huge shockwave could destroy the heavens and the earth. It was aimed directly in front of Su-yi, and a crisp sound could be heard. At the point of impact, a faint golden dragon pattern slowly appeared in an almost imperceptible arc. He directly found the weakest point in the space and forcefully opened the golden dragon mystic realm. Merciless West spat out another mouthful of wine. Impermanence Fairy also gasped, and her face was filled with shock and horror as she looked at Su-yi. To be able to do this, the golden dragon bloodline in this kid's body must be extremely orthodox. This kid has gone in. After saying that, Su-yi grabbed the air from afar, and the golden pattern was instantly torn apart like a rag. In the sky, Su-yi's powerful dragon's roar came down quickly, and the two stopped in their tracks. Big brother, Sister Han, the situation inside is unclear. I'll go in first, please guard me. Go ahead. Merciless West also responded quickly. In front of Su-yi, the golden pattern quickly turned into a small hole for people to pass through, and Su-yi turned into a ray of light and rushed in. In an instant, heaven and earth returned to normal. The golden dragon's roar disappeared, and the holy light disappeared. The valley, which was like spring, returned to its original state. This golden dragon mystic realm is really magical. Merciless West's eyes trembled slightly, and she and Impermanence Fairy each took one side, and began to guard Su-yi. The vast space still stretched as far as the eye could see. Above the blurry void, the star-like dome made one feel like they were in the dark abyss. The stars, like ribbons of stars, hung high in the dark sky. At this moment, Su-yi, who had re-entered the Golden Dragon Mystery Realm, was no longer as insignificant and soul-shaking as before. When he opened his eyes, golden patterns filled the air. The domineering aura of a supreme demon made Su-yi feel as if a god had descended. Looking at Su-yi's eyes. Suddenly, the heavenly origin demon soul in Su-yi's mind began to fluctuate. The ancient chaos bell also began to spin rapidly in his spirit sea. What happened here? Draconis didn't come in. Where did Senior go? The void changed endlessly, and the hazy starry river was like an eternal world. There was no birth or death, and there was no end. In the endless abyss, the universe was eternal, and life was immortal. Senior Golden Dragon, are you still there? Su-yi shouted. Su-yi repeated 3 times, and his voice became louder and louder. His last shout was like a rocket launcher that rushed into the void. The wind and thunder trembled, and the sound was endless. Buzz! The starry river trembled, and the twinkling starlight seemed to be responding to Su-yi. However, in the endless darkness, everything became gloomy and dark. Suddenly, Su-yi had an extremely bad feeling. Did the 5-clawed golden dragon really disappear? The 3-year promise. I failed to keep my promise. Su-yi was incomparably vexed. His remorse made Su-yi clench his fists tightly. His white knuckles made all sorts of cracking sounds. Back then, he had made an oath with the 5-clawed golden dragon. He had to reach the origin ancestor realm within 3 years and return to this place to explore the secrets of the primordial calamity. Now, he had reached the origin ancestor realm within 3 years, but it had been more than 3 years. If he returned to this place, the golden dragon would die, and another deity would disappear in the legends of history. Would the secret of the primordial calamity be completely buried in the river of time? At this thought, Su-yi's head hurt for no reason, as if thousands of insects were gnawing on it. He suddenly closed his eyes. Why? My head hurts. Su-yi, who had always had amazing endurance, hugged his head and cried out in pain. His cries of pain were earth-shattering, like a storm that swept through space. When Su-yi gathered all his cultivation to one point, the primordial chaos ancient bell slowly floated out from the top of his head. In the dark space, the ancient bell emitted an ancient and desolate light as it slowly rotated. It was as if it had illuminated the darkness for all eternity. In an instant, the ancient stars flickered with light, and a fierce aura merged like a hurricane. Bang! The stars exploded, and Su-yi, who had raised his head, was shocked. In the dark space above, a five-clawed golden dragon image with starlight twining around it gathered again. Hiss! At the same time, Su-yi's limbs, bones, and muscles began to expand. The tyrannical energy in front of him made him want to roll on the ground in pain. Senior five-clawed golden dragon. Su-yi stretched out his hands, and in response, his body began to crazily circulate the primordial chaos supreme technique. Drip, drip, drip. The ancient bell rang, and the sonorous sound of metal could be heard continuously. The refracted light was like a shooting arrow, covering the heavens and the earth, merging with the countless stars in the sky. Soon, a golden dragon with five-clawed auspicious clouds engraved on its abdomen appeared in front of him. Its huge body was like a heavenly palace, spiraling above the stars, causing people's hearts to tremble endlessly. Gradually, the pain in Su-yi's head began to lessen. Su-yi stood up, and his eyes focused. A domineering divine light lingered around Su-yi's body, and he looked at the golden dragon in the sky. The golden dragon slowly opened its eyes. Its eyes were deep, like a bottomless gorge. The only difference was that its eyes were no longer glowing with golden light. Instead, they were replaced by two bright stars. "Young man, is that you?" The golden dragon finally spoke. Its voice was haggard and distant, like an old man who had waited for 1,000 years, vicissitudes of life. On the long golden dragon image, the stars shone, and the light disappeared in a flash, as if to tell Su-yi that this golden dragon did not have long to live. "Your senior five-clawed golden dragon? You didn't disappear?" In an instant, Su-yi's eyes flickered, and he was full of surprise at the golden dragon image in the sky. Ignoring Su-yi's question, the golden dragon said, "Yes, I've been waiting for you for a long time." Its weak voice spread throughout the sea of stars, and the dazzling light continued to penetrate Su-yi's mind. How did it become like this? It was fine 3 years ago. Su-yi yelled. The golden dragon shouldn't be so weak and feeble. The five-clawed golden dragon's voice spread in the void, and as its voice fell, the stars in the void shone again. Chapter 2256. I have been waiting for you. Over the past few years, the power of my remnant soul has been getting weaker and weaker. Coupled with the continuous attacks of the bloodline successor, my energy has been depleted. Suddenly, Su-yi's eyes widened. What was the situation with the five-clawed golden dragon that he was seeing now? The me that you see is just a shadow projected in the starlight. My remnant soul has long been destroyed. I have been waiting for you to appear. Hearing the five-clawed golden dragon's words, Su-yi's eyes were filled with anger. Even though it was just a remnant soul, the five-clawed golden dragon's spiritual energy was incomparable to that of the other mythical beasts. If not for Draconis, the five-clawed golden dragon could have lived for many years. Waiting for me to appear? Su-yi took a deep breath, and the chaotic ancient bell above his head started to spin. Faint divine light surged out as if it was competing with the stars. That's right. You are the only one who can obtain the most precious treasure of the dragon tribe, the golden dragon blood essence and the golden dragon soul. You are my hope. The golden dragon opened his eyes and fixed his lifeless eyes on Su-yi's chaotic ancient bell. The golden dragon's shadow immediately exuded a majestic dragon aura. It was like a sun that did not dissipate. It exclaimed, The facts have proven that I was right. You are the Demon King. You are the Demon King. The Demon King again. The appearance of the 12 mythical beasts must be related to the Chaos Demon King. Sui said in a low voice. I have seen the Qilin and the Black Tortoise in the spiritual sacrifice abyss. Sui knew that the Phoenix and the Golden Dragon had split their remnant souls into 2 parts. One part guarded the spiritual sacrifice abyss, while the other remained in the world to wait for the Demon King to be reborn. Fortunately, the Golden Dragon clan did not let you down. The Golden Dragon clan has finally found Lord Demon Emperor and the Chaos Divine Bell. If the old guys know, they will be overjoyed. The 5-clawed Golden Dragon's voice became weaker and weaker as he smiled at Sui. Then, Sui told the 5-clawed Golden Dragon about the dream he had when he was in the Great Void. Senior, who is the Demon King? Why is he in the Sky Barbarian continent? What is the primordial Great Tribulation? The 5-clawed Golden Dragon looked at Sui meaningfully. His voice rolled through the void as he began to narrate the terrifying events that happened in the primordial era. The 5-clawed Golden Dragon's eyes shone brightly. Within the dragon's eyes, light flickered. It was as if the mountains and rivers were twisting, and the universe was changing. As his voice fell, the vast sound of wind and thunder was like the roar of 10,000 beasts. The Golden Dragon continued to speak to Sui as it hovered high in the starry river. Its eyes were shining brightly and its divine might was vast and mighty. The Golden Dragon told Sui that the Primordial Age was the beginning of the Primordial Age. In the chaos there were humans, demons, and barbarian demons. However, above these 3 races were the Supreme God. At the beginning of the immemorial era, it was an era ruled by the God. Everything between heaven and earth was created by these God. Mountains, rivers, flowers, plants, immortal trees, water sources, soil, humans, and even the sun and moon were all created by God. Gods were omnipotent, and the God race ruled over everything. Humans were the most insignificant existence among the 3 races, just like ant. Under the rule of the gods, all kinds of mythical beasts stirred up the winds and clouds. The primordial age was in turmoil, and heroes fought for supremacy. That era was the most chaotic era, and at the same time the most glorious era. However, all of this started with the Chaos Demon King of the Demon Emperor's realm. During the immemorial era, all living things in the world were like a whole. They lived together in a world known as the realm of the God. Humans and demons were at the bottom of the realm of the God. The demons were even excluded from the realm of the God. The Chaos Demon King and the other gods were the creators of the world. They managed everything in the realm of the gods together. The barbarian demons were under the Chaos Demon King's jurisdiction. As the world was perfected, the realm of the gods was divided into various astral realms. The Demon Emperor's realm was one of the astral realms. As the days passed, the barbarian demons continued to multiply and expand. The Chaos Demon King was arrogant and unruly. He treated all living things the same, and naturally, he was respected by all. Soon, the demons led by the Chaos Demon King were criticized and speculated by the realm of the God. On the night that the Chaos Demon King married goddess Yuluo, news of the immemorial calamity reached the Demon Emperor's palace. The wedding was stopped, and the Demon King and Yuluo stayed in their respective astral realms to deal with the immemorial calamity. Is that the first immemorial calamity? Sui frowned. Then, the Chaos Ancient Bell started to spin rapidly. As if it had a mind of its own, it recalled everything that had happened. No, the first immemorial calamity created the realm of the gods. The immemorial calamity that the Demon King is facing is known as the second immemorial calamity. The Golden Dragon said slowly. The aura in the dragon's eyes filled the entire sea of stars. Ferocious killing intent and fear lingered in the air. It was as if the calamity that destroyed everything was right in front of them. The Golden Dragon said with a trembling voice. Before the second immemorial calamity, the god race, the godly beast race, and the demon race entered a period of chaos. All the races were looking for a chance to survive. They fought with each other to find the secret to escape the immemorial calamity. Hearing this, Sui became more and more confused. He looked at the golden dragon and said loudly, "So the final result is still unavoidable. Everything was buried in the immemorial era?" After saying this, Sui sighed. Could it be that the god race and the godly beast race were unable to escape the immemorial calamity? Then how lowly was he? Since then, the realm of the gods fell apart and exploded into the boundless astral region. The heavenly barbarian region that we are in is too far away from the realm of the god. Hence, when the realm of the gods collapsed, the heavenly barbarian region was also affected and became even more remote. Now, the living beings in the heavenly barbarian region are even weaker and the energy of heaven and earth is so thin. The light dimmed and the golden dragon's voice spread in the void. The golden dragon looked at Sui and there was a slight fluctuation in its eyes. Its voice gradually became louder as it said, "The chaos demonic emperor commanded thousands of demons. He had a life and death contract with the 12 godly beast brothers. When the demonic emperor suffered the immemorial calamity, his body merged with the heaven-suppressing divine weapon, the chaos ancient bell. When he went to the heavenly barbarian region, the 12 of us attached half of our remnant souls to the bell and followed him to the heavenly barbarian region. The spiritual sacrifice abyss is where the chaos ancient bell fell. The bell and the demonic emperor disappeared at the same time. Helpless, the phoenix and I could only split half of our remnant souls and set up inheritances in the heavenly barbarian region to find the demonic emperor," the golden dragon said in a low voice. Instantly, Suyi's heart was in turmoil. The spiritual sacrifice abyss and the remnant souls here merged into one, but it was only half of the golden dragon's remnant soul? And it was only a remnant soul? If it was the true form of a divine beast, then what kind of almighty power would it possess? Suddenly, Sui was extremely shocked. He looked at the mighty golden dragon of stars in front of him and was speechless for a long time. Chapter 2257. Why didn't the monster emperor go anywhere else but come to a remote place like the heavenly barbarian region? Sui was getting more and more confused. The golden dragon sighed. Its head started to turn ferocious and murderous aura surged out. The heavenly barbarian region is remote and was created by the monster emperor at the beginning of the primordial age. That's why the monster emperor chose this place unknowingly. What I want to tell you is that the primordial age catastrophe could have been avoided. It was all because of some people's interference that led to such a huge catastrophe. The monster emperor was framed. Avoided? Framed? Heaven-suppressing divine weapon? The heavenly barbarian region was built by the chaos monster emperor? The series of answers made Sui even more confused. When he looked at the dazzling Milky Way, the golden dragon's shadow had gradually dissipated and only a sentence was left. I was attracted by the chaos ancient bell and could only sense it through the last projection. Now my wish has been fulfilled. Monster Emperor, the primordial age catastrophe will come again soon. Please revive the Monster Emperor's realm and let the mythical beast clan be reborn. Lead the demons to resist the catastrophe and save thousands of lives. The mythical beast clan is not to be trusted. Monster Emperor, the day of your rebirth will be the day of our revenge. Bang! The Milky Way exploded and the aura shook the void. The looming golden dragon's shadow lingered around Sui. It was sacred and domineering. When this pressure completely dissipated, a small golden dragon was carved into the top layer of the primordial ancient bell. Inexplicably, Sui felt his bones, flesh, and blood expand once again. A kind of dragons might envelop Suyi's surroundings. In his mind, the golden divine light shrouded him, and a huge amount of information appeared with the appearance of the Chaos Ancient Pagoda's dragon pattern. Sky-piercing golden dragon finger. The information that Su-yi received was this set of martial arts technique. This was the last talent of the Dragon Clan after the Golden Dragon suppresses the 9 heavens and the world suppresses the Dragon's soul chant. Looking at the appearance of this martial arts technique in his mind, Su-yi suddenly felt a huge Taoist connotation that could overturn the mountains and seas and penetrate heaven and earth. Su-yi felt as if he could tear the world apart and open a spatial tunnel at any time with this casual wave of his finger. How powerful would this attack be if my cultivation reached the origin sky realm? Su-yi was extremely excited as he bowed deeply in the direction where the golden dragon had disappeared. Su-yi naturally knew that this move was the dragon race's final gift to the successor of the demon emperor. Standing in place, Su-yi suddenly felt a bit absent-minded. Clearly, the golden dragon had not finished speaking. Originally, there were 2 Archean catastrophes in history. According to the Golden Dragon, the second Archean calamity could have been avoided. However, in the end, the demon emperor was framed and died tragically. He joined the ancient Chaos Bell and fled to the heavenly barbarian region. Looking at the primordial Chaos Ancient Bell in his soul, Su-yi's heart was in a mess. He said in a low voice, "Since the 12 divine beasts have determined that I am the successor of the demon emperor, and I do have this primordial Chaos Ancient Bell, I naturally can't avoid the Archean calamity. Also, I must go to the realm of the gods." After saying that, Su-yi looked at the golden dragon space that had returned to normal. Endless golden light shot into the sky. The simple natural Taoist connotation gave people a kind of scorching Archean aura. Just looking at it from afar was enough to make people want to crawl. It's just that they don't know that I came from Earth. When I was on Earth, I had the ancient Chaos Bell in my mind. How can I explain this? Thinking of this, Su-yi's mind was in a mess. In any case, Su-yi could be sure that his primordial Chaos Supreme technique was born from the ancient Chaos Bell. The ancient Chaos Bell was also a heaven-suppressing divine artifact. All of these were related to the Chaos Demon Emperor. The Golden Dragon had fallen, and there were probably no more divine beasts in this world. If he wanted to find out all these secrets, he would have to go to the extraterritorial region, or even the legendary realm of the gods. Shaking his head, Su-yi put away the distracting thoughts and stopped thinking about it. Suddenly, he laughed. "Since I'm the Chaos Demon Emperor, isn't this Golden Dragon space and the Golden Dragon sky-piercing finger tailor-made for me, the Bawang sect?" It was still the same saying, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Even if the Golden Dragon had disappeared, this terrifying space that had been crawling for 10,000 years had spiritual energy that could not be compared to an ordinary place. Su-yi's gaze quickly swept across the boundless space, and the corners of his mouth slowly curled up. In front of him was a continuous mountain range. In the space that was overflowing with golden light, there were auspicious clouds. Even the power of the stars was far stronger than the 9 stars' great array in the 9 stars valley. Ha ha ha! Very satisfied laughter quickly echoed in the Golden Dragon space. At this time, Merciless West and Wu-wei Fairy, who were waiting anxiously outside, looked at the place where Su-yi had disappeared. "This kid has been in there for 3 days. Why is there no movement at all?" Merciless West saw that the wine jug was empty again. All the old wine that she had brought with her was gone. Suddenly, she became anxious. I said, "Can you stop drinking? I'm dying of anxiety, and you're still in the mood to drink." Seeing Merciless West's indifferent look, Wu-wei Fairy scolded her. Boom! Ha 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 ha! The wild laughter was like a storm. Thunder clouds swept across the sky, and the entire sky was instantly filled with the heavenly might. From the plains, a reddish-gold spatial crack suddenly appeared. Merciless West and Wu-wei Fairy stared blankly. He opened the space with his bare hands. Is this an expert of the origin domain realm? Wu Fairy's jade-like throat moved slightly. She was full of disbelief. The person who came out of the golden spatial crack was shrouded in holy light. Between his eyebrows, there was a golden dragon god. It was Sui. Compared to before he entered, the ferocious dragon aura was even stronger. Sui. Merciless West and Wu Fairy suddenly laughed. Big brother, Sister Han, I've finally found a good place. Sui raised his hand. Suddenly, the earth-shattering golden light dissipated, turning into a rain of light that dissipated in the sky. After listening to Sui's adventures, Merciless West and Wu Fairy were extremely amazed by Sui's good luck. Only Sui knew that it was all because of his identity as the Chaos Demon Emperor. What's left is to quickly expand the strength of the Bawang sect. Although Draconis can't shake the five-clawed Golden Dragon Senior, he has hastened his demise. The Long family has added another mark to the Book of Hatred. Sui's eyes were cold. His abyss-like eyes fluctuated continuously. The Golden Dragon Mystery Realm was extremely long. The area it occupied could extend almost infinitely. As long as the Golden Dragon aura here did not dissipate, theoretically, it could fit an infinite number of people. In this way, it could replace Sui's primordial Chaos Ancient Bell. When Sui first entered with all the experts of the Bawang sect, the Beast Emperors and human ancient martial art practitioners were all shocked. All kinds of exclamations could be heard. Looking at the auspicious clouds in the sky, everyone's soul trembled and wanted to crawl. Within the reddish-gold heaven and earth, the spiritual energy was abundant. Compared to the barren chaos territory, it was simply a cultivator's paradise. Chapter 2258. Oh my God! There is such a treasure in the Chaos region. Compared to Master's treasure, the heaven and earth spirit here is even better. This way, everyone in the Bawang sect will quickly ascend. Everyone walked back and forth in the Golden Dragon's secret realm. Because the Green Emperor and the Yin-Yang twin Nether each had a drop of Golden Dragon blood essence, they were like fish in water in the Golden Dragon's secret realm. After the Beast Emperors transformed into their true forms, their lifelike scales constantly emitted a powerful Golden Dragon aura. It was hazy and breathtaking. In the future, this will be the place where you cultivate. Each of them brought in the most talented experts that had been selected. Remember, only the most talented are qualified to enter the Golden Dragon Blessed Land. This is also the best place for the Bawang sect to reach the peak. Yes, this subordinate will cherish the sect master's blessing. When everyone heard this, their eyes trembled. Everyone rejoiced. The benefits of following Sui were so great. Following the sect master, there was meat to eat. Sui. Shirsusu pulled Sui to the side. Her admiration had long been replaced by reverence and respect. What's wrong? Sui lowered his voice. Shirsusu pursed her lips and turned to look at the excited crowd. She said, I am now the vice sect master of the Bawang sect, but I am also a member of the Blue Cloud Hall. In the future, if the Blue Cloud Hall has talented people, can they also be brought into the Golden Dragon Blessed Land? Sui smiled and said, Since you are the vice sect master of the Bawang sect, do you still need to tell me this? Shirsusu was startled. Nangong Ningyu's voice came from behind her. Vice sect master, the talented people of the Blue Cloud Hall can naturally enter. Nangong Ningyu said to Shirsusu with a red face. As the chief manager of the Bawang sect, Nangong Ningyu would also think for Sui. As long as there was an outstanding person, the Bawang sect would accept them all. Suddenly, Shirsu's eyes were filled with tears. She was extremely excited and said in a serious voice, Thank you. Ningyu, Golden Dragon Blessed Land is the headquarters of the Bawang sect, so you need to hurry up and build it. Sui's gaze was solemn, and his eyes were filled with instructions. Nangong Ningyue immediately called Huang Jian, Wang Zhengquan, and the others. Su Yi looked at the crowd and said in a low voice, "The Bawang sect's headquarters must not suffer any more losses. I will teach the way to enter Golden Dragon Blessed Land to the Green Emperor and the Yin Yang two Netherlords. Only they can open it." Everyone nodded. The Bawang sect retreated to the Golden Dragon Blessed Land. This way they would be completely safe, and even the Long family would not be able to easily attack. However, we have to do a good job on the surface. 9 Stars Valley, Blood Sun Sect, and Feng Family Village must be connected immediately. This way, we can surround Golden Dragon Blessed Land, Su Yi said indifferently. According to Su Yi's plan, Golden Dragon Blessed Land will be surrounded by the entire Chaos Region's experts. Within the triangular range, with Feng Family Village as a cover, Golden Dragon Blessed Land can be attacked and defended. This way, the Bawang sect will be protected to a large extent, and there will not be any loopholes. Under Su Yi's instructions, everyone once again became busy. Afterwards, Su Yi gave the method to enter Golden Dragon Blessed Land to the Green Emperor and the Yin Yang two Netherlords. The Green Emperor and the Yin Yang two Netherlords only have 1 drop of Golden Dragon Blood Essence. Although Golden Dragon Heavenly Finger Rending Technique requires a lot of effort, it is impossible to find people like them who have genuine Golden Dragon Blood Essence. Su Yi believes that even in the Long family, it would be difficult to find people with such genuine Golden Dragon Blood Essence. In other words, only they can learn it. In the following days, under the selection of the Green Emperor and the Merciless West, many experts entered Golden Dragon Blessed Land. Everyone who entered Golden Dragon Blessed Land for the first time stared blankly at the space that was overflowing with golden light. The experts of the Bawang sect cultivated as they started to build Golden Dragon Mystery Realm. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. With the support of manpower and financial resources, majestic palaces rose from the ground in Golden Dragon Blessed Land. Looking from afar, the Golden Dragon and Phoenix were facing each other. The fierce aura of the desolate era lingered in the world, like a domineering ancient beast crawling in front of everyone. The ferocious beast head roared towards the sky, and the huge statue of the blood demon killing god stood in front of the palace. Between the golden and dazzling heaven and earth, there was a majestic and domineering aura. In this place, one could not feel the existence of the boundary. In the depths of the towering sky, divine light surged and lightning swept across. The incomparably dense spiritual energy was everywhere, bathing everyone in it. He has advanced. The Green Emperor is in the 8th stage of the Demon Ancestor realm. The Yin Yang two Netherlords have also advanced to the 8th stage of the Demon Ancestor realm. The Merciless West Lord is in the 6th stage of the Origin Ancestor realm. The Beast Emperors have all advanced. In front of Overlord Palace, dazzling golden light rays rose into the sky, and sonic booms and exclamations shook the sky. Sitting in front of Overlord Palace, thousands of experts were enveloped in a strange divine light. Enveloped by a halo, an intense energy storm turned into countless shadows that rushed into the sky. Rumble. The earth-shattering energy fluctuations caused everyone's heart to palpitate, and the violent temperature instantly burned the void of Bawang sect into a black vortex. So powerful! Lord Consecrator and the others have advanced so quickly. High up in Overlord Palace, Su Yi and Nangong Ningyue were observing the changes of these experts. Recently, Su Yi had specially gathered all the experts who were about to advance so that they could adapt to Golden Dragon Blessed Land as soon as possible and cultivate rapidly. Seeing the experts advancing so quickly, Su Yi's heart was filled with joy. He nodded continuously and said, "Ningyue, you can use the martial skill elixirs in Bawang sect as you wish. Don't let them surpass you too much." Nangong Ningyue's gaze trembled, and she nodded at Su Yi. "Sect Master, don't worry. Ningyue will definitely live up to Sect Master's expectations. Bang! In the sky, countless energy ribbons rushed into the sky, and in the clouds, thunder resounded. The entire golden dragon firmament had become awe-inspiring because of the successive advancements in cultivation. At this moment, another thick pillar of light shot into the sky from Impermanence Fairy's body, and a vigorous sonic boom blew away a large amount of divine essence, causing heaven and earth to tremble. Sister Han is also in the 6th stage of the Origin Ancestor realm. Su Yi's eyes lit up. Subsequently, more and more experts entered the advancement stage. The powerful blazing aura caused Bawang's sect to be like a boiling furnace, and the heat waves were torrential. It was incomparably shocking. Let them continue to cultivate. Ningyue, I'll have to trouble you and Susu with the sex matters again. Su Yi shifted his gaze away from the crowd, and his deep eyes surged with a trace of long-lost surprise. Nangong Ningyue's mouth opened slightly, and she looked at Su Yi anxiously. Sect Master, where are you going? It won't do if they don't see Sect Master after their advancements. Su Yi patted Nangong Ningyue's shoulder lightly and laughed softly. I'll fall behind if I keep staying in Bawang's sect. Have you forgotten? There are still your brothers and sisters in Barbaric Demon Forest. I'm going to pick them up. Chapter 2259. At this time, it was getting closer to the 5-year agreement. Su Yi had to return to Kanglan City. Hearing this, Nangong Ningyue's eyes suddenly dimmed. She lowered her head and said, Sect Master, be careful outside. I will. When she raised her eyes again, a gust of wind lifted Nangong Ningyue's hair. In her eyes, a golden spatial crack spanned across the sky, shining brightly. Looking back at the experts who were cultivating, Nangong Ningyue's face showed a determined expression. On the coast of the Chaos region. Walala! White waves splashed. Water rays leaped high into the sky like silver fish, and a bright golden rainbow crossed the sky. A huge sea breeze whistled past. Above the void, dozens of spatial ripples cut through the sky. A white-haired old man in a dark red robe with a golden dragon robe had his back to the sea. He said to the people behind him in a deep voice, Where is Su Yi? Have you found him? The spatial ripples were hazy. A middle-aged man holding a long spear slowly came out from the west. His eyes were shining, and his killing intent was like a frost blade. 5 or 6 white-robed experts followed behind him. Elder Long Kue, I have searched the east side of the Chaos region, but I didn't find any trace of that kid. The man in the dark red robe was Long Kue, who came to kill Su Yi. Hearing this, he frowned and turned around. You didn't see that kid in the Bawang sect? Long Kue asked. Suddenly, the middle-aged man with the long spear looked behind him and shook his head solemnly. Logically speaking, after unifying the Chaos region, where can this kid go if he doesn't stay in the Bawang sect? But I have searched the Bawang sect, but I can't find him. I also didn't see any of his capable subordinate. There is such a strange thing? Long Kue's lips moved slightly. His snow-white eyebrows surged with a trace of ashen color. For this mission, he had promised the dragon god that he would catch Su Yi. At this time, another large spatial ripple came from the west. A fierce wave of demonic chi soared into the sky. An unparalleled pressure suppressed the wave. Elder Hu Chi, you didn't find him either? Long Kue asked. No. This brat killed my young master Tianjua. Could it be that he ran away? The one who spoke had a murderous look on his face. His surging chi collided violently, and light poured out like a flood. Long Kue's frown deepened as the aura of the golden dragon whizzed out from behind him. The strong wind, which contained killing intent, pushed the waves back. Long Kue's face was filled with disbelief. Hu Chi, spear demon, are you sure you've searched for them? This brat has a lot of tricks up his sleeves. Maybe he has a stronghold in the Chaos region. Hu Chi and Spear Ghost looked at each other. From the looks of it, they were the people who had massacred the spirit ancient village on Yao Luo Mountain. Hearing this, the corners of Elder Ghostly Spear's mouth curled up. He pointed at the 5 or 6 people behind him and said, "Elder Long Kuei, these are the strongest people in our Divine Tiger sect apart from the sect master and Grand Elder. If they can't find it, I'm afraid no one in this world can." I agree with Elder Hu Chi's words. This time, our Sky Dragon Sect's sect master Chang Ing has also specially instructed us to spare no effort to help the dragon god capture Su Yi. In other words, these 2 sects had already done their best. Long Kuei's words were a little too unreasonable. Slowly raising his head, Long Kuei looked at the experts of the Divine Tiger sect and Sky Dragon sect. In the Brahma Dragon Celestial Palace, the experts and elders of the Long Ben army had also moved out. Each of them was a 7th or 8th stage Yuan domain expert. The Divine Tiger sect and Sky Dragon sect's experts were 5th or 6th stage Yuan domain experts. There were more than 20 of them, and all of them were Yuan domain experts. With such a terrifying battle strength, they couldn't even catch a little brat. If this spread out, wouldn't they become a laughingstock? Long Kuei took a deep breath. A bright light flashed in his eyes as he said coldly, "Now that the Chaos region is under the control of the Bawang sect, we must capture the leader first. We can't let Su Yi grow any stronger. We still have to search." Then, Long Kuei, Hu Chi, and Elder Ghostly Spear discussed and decided to split into 3 groups to search the Chaos region again. The 3 forces scattered like mad dragons. 3 terrifying scars were plowed on the sandy shore. It was terrifying to the extreme. Huff! Waves rose and fell, and dark clouds gradually gathered in the sky. The atmosphere became heavy for no reason. At this time, on another shore, a figure in green robes floated by. His slender face flashed with extraordinary calmness. It was none other than Su Yi, who had just come out of the Golden Dragon-blessed land. His gaze fell on the roaring dark clouds in the distance. Su Yi's gaze was firm as he looked at the boundless gray horizon. A trace of uneasiness surged in his heart. "Kid, the Golden Dragon-blessed land is on the west side of the Chaos region. The Endless Sky Sea region is right in front of you. If you want to go to the Central Province, you still have to cross the Chaos region." Qi Feihong's voice sounded in his heart. Sui did not reply for a long time. The corners of his mouth were slightly wrinkled. Years of adventuring made Sui feel the presence of danger at all times. His face was slightly pale. "What's wrong? Do you feel something again?" Qi Feihong looked at Sui in confusion. Sui shook his head and looked back at the lush mountains and forests. He said in a low voice, "There is something strange in my heart. I can't explain it." Then, Sui smiled and said bitterly, "Maybe it's the aftereffects of the Long family. Although I have taken all the necessary measures, I still feel a little depressed." "Oh you, this is once bitten, twice shy," Qi Feihong said with a slight smile. Then, Qi Feihong, who was standing in the Chaos Ancient Bell, looked at Sui and said, "What's your plan? There is no transmission station here. If you want to leave, you have to hurry. We still have to cross the Chaos region." Suddenly, Sui raised his head and looked at the gloomy sky. The boundless, endless sky sea in front of him was like a wild, demonic beast lying dormant on the gloomy surface of the sea. "Uncle Hong, shall I take you to Endless Sky Sea City?" Su Yi's eyes shone brightly. Endless Sky Sea City. Yi had always invited him to Endless Sky Sea City for a stroll. Now, the Bawang sect was in the Golden Dragon-blessed land. Ordinary people could not enter it. However, Sui was still worried. This feeling of being covered in dust made Sui feel uneasy even though he was far away from the Chaos region. "What do you mean? Why do you want to go there?" Qi Feihong said faintly. "Since Endless Sky Sea City is right in front of me, I will go there and take a look. At the same time, I will inform them that there is danger in the Chaos region and ask them to help me delay it. Also, if I want to teleport from Endless Sky Sea City, I won't have to cross the chaos region. Su-yi raised his eyebrows. Qi Feihong's face trembled. He smacked his lips and said, "You little brat, the older you get, the wiser you become. How long have you lived? How can you be so experienced? At my age, are you still human?" Chapter 2260. You're the one who's not human. Su-yi spat softly as his expression turned serious. He said softly, "Actually, there's something else that I need to do in Tianlan City. There's only one glazed stamen left among the 3 herbs that I promised Qianxue. Time is of the essence, so I can only buy it from a place like Tianlan City. Are you treating that Lady 9 spirit lynx of yours?" Qi Feihong's face turned pale as he recalled how frightened he was by Ling Qianxue the other day. Su-yi was slightly surprised to see how shocked Qi Feihong was. He said softly, "What? You've seen her?" Qi Feihong's throat rolled as countless beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. He said sternly, "How dare you say that you're human? Phoenixes, demons, and the 9 spirit lynx? Do you think you're a furnace that you can put everything in?" Qi Feihong could not stop talking about these things, as if he was scolding Su-yi. "Sigh. You should have told me earlier. I'm an old man, I can't stand the wind and rain," Qi Feihong said softly as he sat in the ancient clock, looking at the Tianyuan demon soul that was glowing with a purple demonic glow. Su-yi shook his head and forced a smile. When he entered the civet ruins from the 9 Stars Valley, Ling Qianxue was still a 9 lives cat demon. She was far from being as powerful as she was now. After all these years of refinement, Ling Qianxue was finally going to break out of her body. Now that everything was ready, all that was left was the glazed stamen. Su-yi could not help but feel excited as he thought about the moment Ling Qianxue broke out of her body. Thinking about it, how long had it been since their reunion? This was a woman who had lived in his body for many years. Even Su-yi did not know if his feelings for Ling Qianxue were more romantic or familial. However, Su-yi was sure that Ling Qianxue's birth, even if she couldn't be compared to little Shuai, would still be an extremely powerful support for the Bawang sect. In the battle with the Long family, they had Duanmu Qintian, Handsome Su, and Ling Qianxue. The hidden strength of the Bawang sect was far more than what was shown on the surface. It's a long story. I'll tell you slowly in the future. Su-yi curled his lips, his tone also full of expectation. Let's go then. It just so happens that I also need Tian Xiangrui. It's also a good thing to go to Tianlan Sea City to try my luck, Qi Feihong said expectantly. When it came to collecting treasures in the world, the Spirit Treasures Pavilion was second to none. What many people didn't know was that the Lingbao Pavilion was a secret organization in the Sky Wave Sea, which was used to secretly explore the continents. After making up his mind, Su-yi lifted his chin slightly. The robe behind him fluttered in the wind, and an intense heat was released. Waves of fire swept across the heavens and the earth. Su-yi once again turned into a ball of light and rushed into the dark sky. According to the directions of Qi Feihong and the Long family's geomancy map, Su-yi had been flying toward the southwest sea area at a fast speed. If he didn't fly, he wouldn't know, but once he did, he was shocked. The endless blue sea area was like a space that swallowed all living things. When Su-yi was in the depths of the sea area, he could feel the vastness and boundlessness of the Sky Wave Sea area. Different from the chaotic Ancient Bell and the Golden Dragon Mystery Realm, this sea area was really vast. When Su-yi stopped at a place on the sea surface, the surrounding void was full of blue waves. The void was stagnant, and a trace of terrifying and violent water attribute energy surged in for no reason. Standing above the void, the light around Su-yi's body suddenly expanded. This place, this scene is so familiar. Looking at the same scenery in all directions, Su-yi's mind gradually became dizzy. As his eyes rippled, Su-yi's heavenly origin demonic soul suddenly trembled. The golden dragon's blood essence and the golden dragon's shadow appeared in his mind. In the blink of an eye, a huge phoenix body, which was at least 1,000 meters long, surged out along with the flames. The powerful and scorching energy made the heavens and the earth tremble. A huge ancient pressure suddenly appeared in front of Su Yi. The strangeness in front of the heaven's power made Su Yi's eyes light up. With a dazzling light in his eyes, a golden light shot out from Su Yi's palm toward the space in front of him. Boom! The sound of water rippling could be heard in front of him. Everything that he saw before his eyes suddenly changed. A layer of transparent, wrinkled curtain shattered in front of his eyes. Soon, the transparent curtain shrunk together and was sucked in by a strong wind. It was as if it was swallowed into the mouth of an expert. In a short moment, the space in front of him changed again. The sky was blue, the clouds were white, and the waves were floating. Looking in the direction where the transparent curtain disappeared, Su Yi's eyes gradually became cold. In front of him, there was a group of naked warriors covered in scales with sharp fangs. They were looking at Su Yi. Looking carefully, even the hands and feet of the people who came were like sharp fins. Their triangular green and blue eyes gave people a terrifying impression. They are the spiritual fish soldiers guarding the endless sky-sea region. Qi Feihong was a little helpless as he looked at these strange-looking warriors. Spiritual fish soldiers? Su Yi narrowed his eyes. After knowing that they were people from Endless Sky Sea City, he secretly removed the power of the Emperor's Sparrow, and the Origin Supreme technique slowly stopped. The leader of the spiritual fish soldiers said in a hoarse voice. Before he could finish his sentence, a strong sea breeze blew over. "Who are you? You can actually break through our Endless Sky Sea City's jade flame formless sea?" Su Yi smiled and said to the spiritual fish soldiers, "It's not the first time I've broken through the jade flame formless sea. I'm Su Yi. I'm here to find Lon Balian. Can I trouble you to let me in?" "Impudent! How dare you call our fairy by her name? You can boast so shamelessly just because you broke through the jade flame formless sea by accident," the leader of the spiritual fish soldiers roared. Immediately, hundreds of spiritual fish soldiers flew out from various parts of the spatial ripples. In just a short while, with Su Yi as the center, he was surrounded by these spirit fish soldiers. Awo! While Su Yi was still in shock, the spiritual fish soldiers used their sharp fins to beat their chest. Due to the compression of the air on their wrinkled bodies, a terrifying whistling sound erupted. The sound of the sonic boom reverberated through the world. It was like the howl of a giant underwater beast, piercing through the heavens and earth. Suddenly, Su Yi noticed that after the jade flame formless sea retreated, there were thousands of isolated islands in the endless sky sea region. Suddenly, thousands of rays of light burst out from the islands. Unsurprisingly, thousands of warriors surrounded the spiritual fish soldiers. Their fierce auras covered the sky and earth. From the eyes of these people, Su Yi could see that these people were full of fear towards him. "You're in trouble now. These spiritual fish soldiers live in the deep sea all year round. Their vision is greatly affected and they only act by hearing. What you said just now, the sensitive fishmen will definitely not let you in," Qi Feihong said helplessly. Immediately, Su Yi also shook his head and said speechlessly, "Why didn't you say so earlier? Be careful, the leader's aura is very strong. He should be a captain. If you didn't break the formation, you wouldn't have been able to alarm such a character." Qi Feihong's eyes flashed with seriousness. Chapter 2261. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, the leader of the spirit-wandering fish soldiers shot out a terrifying wave of water-based energy from his palm. The three forked gusts of wind cut through the air like a hot knife through butter, exploding towards Su Yi. The sudden attack caused Su Yi's eyes to narrow slightly. This style of fighting was very different from Sky Sea City's style of doing things. Suddenly, more and more water arrows appeared, like a huge net covering Su Yi's head. The spatial ripples along the way cracked inch by inch. Chi La! Flames burst out from Su Yi's feet, and the scorching flames instantly burned a path through the surrounding water element. A light flashed, and the clear cry of an emperor sparrow flashed across the sky. When everyone looked at Su Yi again, he was already a few hundred meters away. After landing steadily, Su Yi's brows furrowed unconsciously. In terms of strength, the leader of the fish soldiers was a fifth-stage demon ancestor, which made Su Yi a little shocked. It seemed that the spirit-wandering fish soldiers of Sky Sea City were not ordinary. However, Su Yi didn't dare to compliment him on his intelligence. He had already said that he was looking for Lon Balian. He did not know which nerve of these mermen had been triggered, but they actually attacked him like this. Suppressing the raging anger in his heart, Su Yi said coldly to the fish soldiers, "I'm really looking for your fairy. Please inform her. What's there to fight about? This guy is so strong. He can actually escape from Ling Ji's water net formation. He can even break through the blue flame's formless sea. Naturally, he is not ordinary. Maybe he really is looking for the fairy. That can't be helped. Ling Gu loves face the most. As a commander, how can he let someone pass so casually? Sigh, there's a good show to watch. Let's wait and see." Behind the spirit-wandering fish soldiers, thousands of island masters looked at Su Yi with fear. Su Yi was so strong that he easily neutralized Scaled Spear's attack. The island masters naturally didn't want to get into trouble. "Brat, you have the aura of a golden dragon on you. Tell me, who are you?" The wandering spirit commander called Scaled Spear saw Su Yi easily escape from the joint attack, and his heart was already filled with surprise. Then, he lowered his eyes and said coldly, "Golden Dragon Aura? What? Is this kid from the Brahma Dragon Celestial Palace? It's actually someone from the Long family." In an instant, the expressions of the island masters who were still hesitating suddenly turned cold. His eyes trembled, and a terrifying pressure instantly surged into the sky like a tide. Bang bang! At this moment the entire sky was torn apart by these thousands of strands of Yuan Qi. The wind blew and the clouds surged, faintly trembling. Sigh, this is getting more and more troublesome. Su Yi had already tried his best to hide the aura of the golden dragon, but it was still discovered by the group of spirit fish soldiers. Initially, even if they were not allowed to enter, they could just turn around and leave. But now they found themselves in a difficult position. He couldn't leave, nor could he enter. These guys are all stubborn, but they are loyal and good guards. Otherwise, the endless Sky Sea region would not have been so calm for so many years. Qi Feihong told Su Yi that the spirit fish soldiers were all thick-skinned and had excellent hearing and smell. This was their advantage over other martial artists. Most of the time, the spirit fish soldiers could tear the enemy to pieces without even looking. Suddenly, a strong murderous intent filled the air, and the terrifying demonic aura from the spirit fish soldiers instantly condensed. Even the island masters who were still hesitating just now had a fierce look in their eyes, and a murderous intent surged between heaven and earth, as if they wanted to crush the opponent. Endless Sky Sea City hates the Long family so much? It seems that I was right to come. Su Yi raised the corner of his mouth. Endless Sky Sea City's attitude made Su Yi feel relieved. As long as they were enemies of the Long family, they were Su Yi's friends. His gaze fell on the thousands of strands of Yuan Qi light. Su Yi's eyes trembled, and he immediately released the aura of the Golden Dragon. After coming out of the Golden Dragon-blessed land, the incomparably fierce roar of the Golden Dragon turned into sound waves that spread out in waves. At this moment, the souls of all the Endless Sky Sea experts trembled, and they could feel a trace of extreme terror in the boiling aura. Roar! A lifelike ferocious beast head rushed out from behind Su Yi, and the roar of the dragon resounded through heaven and earth. Under the trembling eyes of the crowd, Su-yi was like a golden dragon god, slowly coming from afar. It's really the aura of the golden dragon. But how can it be so majestic? Is this young man Long Tsang? No, he doesn't look like Draconis. If that's the case, no matter how strong he is, we have to fight. Endless Sky Sea City has such a person. How can the 1,000 Island Masters sit and wait for death? We have thousands of people. Today, we must capture this Long family bastard alive. Suddenly, the mermen and experts roared at the same time. The aura of the Origin Grandmasters and Demon Grandmasters swept through the sky like a storm, and they glared fiercely at Su-yi. Rumble. Then, from the boundless void of Endless Sky Sea, thousands of Origin Chi lights and majestic water arrows smashed toward Su-yi, causing the souls of all the living creatures in the void to tremble. If you want to make a scene, make it big! Su-yi's lips curled into a cold arc. On the surface of the sea, where the water attribute energy was abundant, Su-yi's water soul talent naturally came in handy. With his hands behind his back, Su-yi faced the storm-like Origin Chi attacks. His gaze was calm, and his eyes revealed an incomparable calmness. He had never seen such a scene before. It was just a siege. Previously, when he was surrounded by thousands of people, Su-yi could kill without restraint. Now, facing these people, Su-yi couldn't have any killing intent. Using the Rising Demon's 100 transformation steps, sparks flew in front of Su-yi, and the earth-shattering attacks flashed past Su-yi's body. As if he was passing through thousands of flowers, Su-yi came and went freely in the dense array of attacks. He was like a silver fish in the sea, and he wasn't hit at all. Damn it, is this kid a loach? His movement technique is so strange. At such a young age, he has such a cultivation. It's really terrifying. Today we can't let him go. Island Masters, let's capture him together. I'll report to Elder Ing. Rumble. As his voice fell, an indescribably fierce water attribute light spread out in the sky, and the dark green light covered the sky. Everyone present looked at Su-yi, who was in the illusion again and again. The more they fought, the more shocked they became. Little friend Su, you didn't inform us that you were coming. This is your fault. In the void, an ancient voice gradually fell, and even the crowd couldn't help but tremble. Suddenly, Su-yi raised his eyes and saw that the clear sky was as green as jade, and a vigorous, desolate aura spread out. Waves surged, and a huge palm formed from water rushed out from the ripples in the void. Bang! The palm print covered the sky, and as the palm print fell, the experts present were all shocked. They retracted the Origin Chi in their hands and retreated rapidly. Suddenly, Su-yi's body shot backwards, and he brushed the dust off his shoulders as he looked at the person who came from the palm print. Chapter 2262. The newcomer had the demeanor of an immortal. His hair was loose and his purple satin robe was fluttering in the wind. Stormy wave overlapping palm. Greetings, Elder Ing. Su-yi pointed to the sky and smiled. As soon as he saw the giant hand, Su-yi knew that the battle was over. Su-yi had met Ing Wuxiu in the 9-star city. Back then, Ing Wuxiu had used the stormy wave overlapping palm. Now that he had met Ing Wuxiu again, Su-yi smiled knowingly. Greetings, Elder Ing Wuxiu. Ling Ji's green triangular eyes widened as he turned to look at Ing Wuxiu behind him. He placed his steel-like fins on his chest and greeted the wave palm. Greetings, Master Ing Wuxiu. Instantly, dozens of spirit fish soldiers withdrew their water elemental vital chi, and the fierce water curtain dissipated in an instant. All the spirit fish soldiers looked at Ing Wuxiu with respect. Greetings, Master Ing Wuxiu from the 1,000 Islands. Waves of voices came one after another. Thousands of island owners were puzzled, but at the same time, they looked at Ing Wuxiu with respect. Wasn't this person from the Long family? Why did it seem that he and Ing Wuxiu knew each other well? Did they have a close relationship? All of a sudden, the island owners' eyes trembled as they discussed among themselves. Countless pairs of puzzled eyes lingered on Sui. Whoosh! The giant hand extended from the sky and a fierce aura swept across the land. The vast and cold water elemental palm print passed through the crowd and came directly to Sui. Master Su, this is your first time in Sky Sea City, and you've already caused such a big disturbance. You caught me off guard. Ing Wuxiu stood on the wave and nodded to Sui with a smile. Elder Ing, if you want to blame someone, blame it on me for being so outspoken. I've made the people of Sea City unhappy. Sui spread out his hands. No one would have thought that Ling Gu would indiscriminately beat him up. Ing Wuxiu raised his eyebrows and glanced at the 1,000 island owners and the spirit fish soldiers. These people are all honest and can't be compared to you. Sky Sea City has lasted for tens of thousands of years, not only because of our mysterious location. They don't know that caution is the key to our everlasting prosperity. Hearing this, Su Yi's lips twitched. He shrugged and looked at Ing Wuxiu. Elder Ing, are you saying that I have a glib tongue and is cunning? Ha ha ha! Ing Wuxiu was taken aback. He smiled at Sui. You're the one who said it, you're the one who said it. Let's go, follow me in. The heavenly monarch and fairy are waiting for you. As soon as he finished his sentence, Su Yi's feet burst into flames and a wave of scorching heat enveloped him. He then quickly came to Ing Wuxiu's side. Ing Wuxiu was shocked by his lightning-fast movement skill. An undetectable splendor flashed between his eyebrows. Then, he gently lifted the overlapping wave's palm, and a huge stream of water rushed toward the surface of the sea. Like a whale sucking in water, the terrifying suction force collided with the turbulent sea like a tornado. Walala! The water was turbulent. When the water column fell into the sea was stirred up, and an ancient aura was emitted. Soon, the whirlpool became faster and faster. Countless visible blue lights shot out from the whirlpool until a huge sandbar was formed in the center of the sea. Seaweed grew on the sandbar, and rich spiritual chi of heaven and earth surged. A ferocious Taoist connotation that had not changed for tens of thousands of years almost shattered the ripples in the sea. The aura was enough to make everyone's soul tremble. Woo! Woo! The ancient underground water rippled, and the huge whirlpool was so powerful that sonic booms could be heard. Wild and ferocious cries and howls came from the underground. They were like vengeful spirits, which made people's souls tremble. Sea Beast God, protect Tianlan. Suddenly, Ling Gu and the other lords of the 1,000 islands bowed to the depths of the whirlpool solemnly. Ing Wuxiu did the same, as if he was praying. Seeing this, Sui raised his eyebrows. What was hidden under the Tianlan Sea? He opened his soul slightly, and the purple light of the demon soul of Tianyuan spread out. An invisible pressure of heaven and earth tried to spy on the illusory figure in the dark. Woo! When Su Yi's soul arrived at the whirlpool, another ear-piercing ghostly wail came from the depths of the abyss, accompanied by a strange soul fluctuation that made one's scalp tingle for no reason. My young friend Sui, let's go to Sea City. After the ceremony, Ing Wuxiu looked at Sui with a smile. Su Yi's eyes were filled with astonishment as he abruptly withdrew his thoughts. It was dark in the whirlpool just now. However, when Sui looked away, he could vaguely feel two ferocious eyes staring at him. In the darkness, a terrifying mouth was releasing cold energy, which made people's hearts tremble. Elder Ing, what was that strange, mournful howl just now? Sui stared at the depths of the whirlpool. That was a terrifying demonic beast. Using his soul perception, he could feel that it was covered with thick scales, which glowed with black light. It was accompanied by an unfathomable cold energy, which made people's hearts throb. That is the divine beast that guards Tianlan Sea City. No one has ever found it. We don't know where it is in the sea. Only in this whirlpool can the divine beast's cry pass through the sea. In Wuxiu's voice grew more solemn as he looked at the vortex. According to the ancestors of Endless Sky Sea City, all the dangers that Endless Sky Sea City has faced in the past were all because of the protection of the mythical beast. That is why everyone in Sea City uses this whirlpool as their totem. Entering Sea City and worshipping the divine beast has become a ritual in Tianlan Sea City. I see. After listening to Ing Wuxiu's description, Su Yi nodded. He was even more surprised. If that was the case, the demonic beast in the whirlpool must have lived for tens of thousands of years. If even Tianlan Sea City could not find a trace of this demonic beast, what kind of cultivation level could it be? Su Yi was suddenly very curious about the origin of this demonic beast. His eyes were fixed on the vast sandbar. The whirlpool had disappeared, but Su Yi's mind was still racing. When Su Yi and Ing Wuxiu landed on the sandbar, Su Yi was shocked by the hardness of the sandbar. "Come with me," Ing Wuxiu said. He was walking at a fast pace and he was following them like a shadow. Whoosh, whoosh. Su Yi calmed himself down and used the Fuyao's 100 transformation steps to catch up with Ing Wuxiu's speed. They came to a huge wall of water. "Welcome to Tianlan Sea City." Facing Su Yi, Ing Wuxiu waved his hand and the wall of water collapsed. The water that covered the sky and the earth collapsed on Su Yi like a flood. Chapter 2263. In an instant, the space around him shook violently. The water current that engulfed Su Yi was like a giant beast that swallowed the stars. Boom! The water was vast, and everything in the world was swallowed up. Su Yi, who was in the center of the water current, was surrounded by an oppressive and terrifying aura. Su Yi felt as if he was in a vacuum. Under the terrifying pressure, Su Yi secretly activated the art of controlling the heavens and slowly closed his eyes. 1. Su Yi felt as if he was immersed in a dark sea. The endless pressure around him was pushing him down. The water current was like a long whip that coiled around Su Yi's body. Rich water attribute energy gathered from every corner. In the dark abyss there was no trace of time. Splash! In the space under the sea, Su Yi stood upright in the middle of the water. Faint golden dragon patterns covered his body. An ancient aura filled the deep sea. The Emperor's sparrow and golden dragon's shadows complemented each other. Their huge bodies seemed to be connected to the entire space of the deity sea. The roars of beasts filled the sky. The shocking pressure in the deep sea made Su Yi extremely determined. Even if he was in the deep sea, he would not be torn to pieces by the turbulent waves. This guy is using his own energy to resist the power of the deep sea? Such energy fluctuations continued to surround Su Yi. Ing Wuxiu, who was guiding Su Yi forward, was also shocked. In the dark sea, Su Yi's faint golden light was like a lamp in the dark night. At this moment, Su Yi, who had already entered a state of selflessness, started to feel the terrifying pressure around him. As his body fell, the fiery red patterns around Su Yi's body were gradually replaced by his own water attribute energy. At this moment, Su Yi's water soul was finally able to unleash its full power. Su Yi's green robe fluttered in the wind. Mysterious patterns of the world appeared around him, and the art of controlling the heavens flowed more and more smoothly. After half a breath of time, Su Yi's divine sense had already recovered. What made Su Yi feel even more strange was that in such an extreme ocean environment, Su Yi's soul energy had actually been further released. "My water soul is cultivating on its own?" Su Yi was slightly surprised. Hoo! When Su Yi's surrounding flow of water reached its peak speed, Su Yi's soul pressure had nearly fused with the space around him. His divine sense was bright, and powerful fluctuations constantly surged outwards. Of course, Su Yi didn't open his eyes. Just by relying on his terrifying spiritual sense, Su Yi could feel that he was approaching Sky Sea City. If that's the case, then I'll cultivate properly. Seeing that Sky Sea City was still some distance away, Su-yi decided to make use of this extreme water attribute environment to continue his cultivation. The vast water attribute Yuan Qi transformed into ancient Yuan Qi and rippled outwards. At this moment, the blue light around Su-yi's body grew even more violent. Amidst the chaotic currents, Ing Wuxiu's eyes flickered as he guided Su-yi forward. When he felt the change in the attribute of Su-yi's Yuan Qi, Ing Wuxiu's eyes widened in shock. This kid is cultivating in such a place? Ing Wuxiu's eyes flickered. To be able to cultivate in such a dangerous place, this Su-yi could be considered a strange person. In the darkness, Ing Wuxiu's bitter laughter rang out. This was the first time he had seen such a strange young man. Surrounded by silent darkness, the thick and viscous seawater clung onto Su-yi's body like a plague. Immersed in his spiritual cultivation, Su-yi had already broken free from the shackles of these external forces. With a casual move, a series of complex and mysterious talismans circled around Su-yi's body crazily. The wind howled, and the low hum of thunder traveled thousands of miles. Su-yi floated in the air, the powerful water attribute energy sweeping across the sky. Bang! When Su-yi opened his eyes again, a round of emerald moonlight shone down, and a vast and ancient underwater palace appeared before his eyes. The unique symbol of a whirlpool of waves hung high above the palace, reflecting the bright moon. The majestic aura made one feel as if they were in the ancient times. The dark green walls were covered with mottled vines, and the vast palace seemed to be connected to heaven and earth. Under the heavy colors, the ancient aura was like a ferocious demon beast that wanted to devour Su-yi completely. Suddenly, Su-yi's eyes twitched and his mind cleared up. Sky Sea City. The supreme underground palace. A graceful and gentle voice sounded. Looking down, a row of powerful experts with high cultivation gathered below the city. The powerful aura caused ripples in the air, and every ripple was enough to tear the space apart. Long time no see, Su-yi. Lon Balian stood at the city gate, slender and elegant. Her eyes curved into crescents as she smiled gently. Immediately, Su-yi walked forward with a smile in his eyes. Seeing that the experts of Sky Sea City had come to welcome him, Su-yi nodded. You actually came to welcome me personally? Su-yi smiled. Lon Balian looked at Su-yi in surprise. She sized up Su-yi's completely different cultivation aura and said softly, Elder Ing said that he brought in a youth who was cultivating in the deep-sea whirlpool. At first, we didn't believe it. But when I saw that it was you, I believed it. After speaking, Lon Balian looked at Su-yi as though she had seen a ghost. She saw that Su-yi's body was surrounded by light blue water attribute energy like a spirit. You are actually at the 7th level of the Origin Ancestor realm? Lon Balian shook her head and said to Su-yi in disbelief. Su-yi also looked at himself up and down, the corners of his mouth curling up. It's just luck. During the Tianfeng ranking tournament, Lon Balian had concealed 20% of her strength. Actually, Lon Balian's true strength was still at the 7th level of the Origin Emperor realm. After so many days, under the nurturing of Sky Sea City, she had reached the 8th level of the Origin Emperor realm and was about to break through to the 9th level of the Origin Emperor realm. However, Su-yi's speed of growth had far exceeded everyone's expectations. A 20-year-old youth had actually reached the 7th level of the Origin Ancestor realm. This kind of cultivation speed was probably unprecedented in history and would never be surpassed in the future. Lon Balian, who had always been arrogant, had a dull look in her eyes. She opened her mouth slightly and said, Abnormal. You are definitely abnormal. After speaking, Lon Balian stomped her feet in dissatisfaction and shook her head. A few days ago, Miss Yuma even told me that you would be even more amazing when we meet again. But this surprise of yours is too big. You actually crossed a huge level. When he heard Duguyuma's name, A pair of clear blue eyes immediately appeared in Su Yi's mind. It was as though they could see through all the darkness in the world. You have seen Miss Yuma? Is she still in the Sword Alliance? Su Yi looked at Lon Balian with interest. Chapter 2264. Suddenly, Lan Ilian paused and looked at Su Yi with a flustered expression. She said softly, "We met by chance some time ago. She told me that if she saw you again, you would definitely have a shocking change. I didn't expect you to have directly leapfrogged by a large level." Lan Ilian's eyes moved slightly. She intentionally avoided looking at Su Yi. Ing Wuxiu, who was behind her, stroked his beard and smiled. "All right, let's talk later. Let's go in. The Lord of Heaven is still waiting." Su Yi, who was frowning, looked at Lan Ilian, who seemed to want to say something but was hesitating. A trace of undetectable throbbing flashed in the depths of his eyes. He then followed Ing Wuxiu into the city, as if nothing had happened. "That's Su Yi who defeated the young palace master of the Long family? He's actually so young. He's already at the 7th level of the Origin Ancestor realm, at such a young age. That's amazing! Didn't you hear? He can cultivate in the Deep Sea region. I wonder what such a person's motive is for coming to Sky Sea City?" After Ing Wuxiu and the others left, the powerhouses in Sky Sea City were still shocked by Su Yi's performance in the Deep Sea region. Their eyes were filled with shock. When Su Yi entered the city, he realized that Sky Sea City was vast and boundless. The simple and unadorned buildings looked as if they had traveled through the long river of time. The mottled and peeling jade-green city walls gave off a desolate and ancient aura. Sky Sea City was like an underground city-state with no end in sight. Within 100,000 feet of space, it was neatly divided into numerous large areas. Su Yi casually glanced around and saw that there were large groups of spirit fish soldiers patrolling back and forth in every area of Sky Sea City. Sinister demonic chi occupied every area. Compared to the fish soldiers in the sea, the fish soldiers here were more muscular. The demonic clan aura surging from their bodies was enough to make anyone shudder in fear. Within Sea City, any one of the fish soldier leaders had a cultivation base that was 30% stronger than the scaled spear. Such a powerful sex strength shocked Su Yi. Tianlan Sea City was one of the only 5 aristocratic families after the Tianfeng Martial Pavilion and the Tian Yao School. Sure enough, it wasn't just for show. If that's the case, the Long family will be even more dangerous. Luckily, I've placed the Green Emperor in the Golden Dragon Blessed Land. With a solemn gaze, Su Yi was incomparably glad that he had made the decision before. Otherwise, how could he have come out with peace of mind? Looking up at the green moonlight, Su Yi gradually calmed down. Following Ing Wuxiu's footsteps, a tall building appeared in the center of Tianlan City. Ing Wuxiu introduced the place to Su Yi. This was the Supreme Underground Palace where the Heavenly Lords lived. Looking at the majestic Supreme Underground Palace, Su Yi's eyes were filled with shock. The building in front of him shone with a jade-green light, releasing an ancient halo. The castle, which was tens of thousands of meters tall, gave off an extremely oppressive feeling. A sharp and domineering aura gushed out from it. Looking at it for too long could cause one's heart to palpitate. Such a ferocious building itself was a great killing machine. Su Yi's heaven origin demonic soul quickly circulated, and his eyes became clear again. The jade-green light in the sky never dissipated. Even with the reflection of the moonlight, Su Yi could feel the loneliness and mystery of Tianlan City. The Heavenly Lord is inside. Follow me. Ing Wuxiu led the way in front and smiled faintly. Soon, Su Yi was in the middle, with Lan Balian behind him. Under Ing Wuxiu's guidance, they passed through 18 turns in the underground palace. Finally, under the light of a teleportation formation, Su Yi arrived in front of a giant jade-blue bubble. The Heavenly Lord is inside. Fairy and I will wait outside. You can go in. In Wuxiu nodded to Sui. Without any delay, Sui did not plan to stay in Tianlan City for long. He wanted to leave this gloomy place as soon as he finished his business. Taking big strides, Sui used his water-attributed essence energy. After taking a look at Lon Balian, he entered the jade blue bubble. The interior of the bubble was filled with spirit qi. It was much earlier than anywhere else in Tianlan City. Along the walls of the jade blue bubble, Sui could easily see every movement in Tianlan City. Just by looking at the walls, Sui could feel the majesty and grandeur of Tianlan City. The countless divisions meant that there were countless underwater races. Just the types of spirit fish soldiers alone were divided into more than 10 different types under Xie Wuxiu's guidance. Not to mention, in the vast and boundless depths of the sea, there were all kinds of strange and bizarre creatures. Su Yi's eyes followed the flickering light on the wall and scanned it back and forth. Streaks of hazy spiritual aura radiated from the wall. At this moment, Su Yi's heart was already surging with waves. Tianlan City was more majestic than any city on the continent. Tianlan City was even more majestic than any territory in the 6 continents, 7 prefectures, and 1 ocean. To be able to rule over such a miraculous piece of land in the deep sea, he was simply the ruler of the sea. How was he different from the peak overlords on the continent? All of a sudden, Su Yi's eyes flashed and his blood boiled unconsciously. His burning passion exploded with an awe-inspiring domineering aura as everything was in order. Taking a deep breath, Su Yi's eyes darkened. He heard a domineering voice coming from behind him. To be able to rule over this underwater kingdom is definitely the dream of any heaven barbarian realm cultivator. Yi slowly walked out of the spatial ripples. Her hair was tied up in a bun and her faint old age couldn't hide her stunning appearance. She must have been an exotic flower when she was young. Turning his head, Su Yi's eyes suddenly focused. Then, he nodded and smiled. Indeed, a man's life is for fame and fortune. Everything here is simply a man's paradise. To be a speck of dust or an overlord, a smart man will choose. Yi Yi's red lips parted and faint wrinkles spread to the corners of her eyes. She smiled and said, "Then it seems that Sect Master Su wants to be an overlord. The Bawang sect unifies the Chaos realm. This division of labor has never been done before and I'm afraid it will never be done in the future. Let me ask you, what is your ambition?" "To destroy the Long family," Su Yi said bluntly. His eyes were filled with killing intent and an incomparable murderous intent erupted. Yi didn't expect Su Yi to be so direct. She was slightly stunned and then laughed dryly. As expected of the man chosen by Goddess Yutian. You are indeed courageous. However, this courage alone is not enough. Yi spun in front of Su Yi twice. Her delicate eyes flashed and she said softly, "Even if you have Yutian Palace and the Chaos Realm behind you, it's still not enough. Aristocratic families have been around for thousands of years. Is that something you can surpass in a few years?" Hearing this, Su Yi smiled and looked straight into Yi Yi's eyes. He said without hesitation, "Indeed, it's not enough. However, isn't there still Tianlan Sea City? Heavenly Lord, have you forgotten that we were sincere allies during the Tianfeng battle?" Chapter 2265. Yi closed her eyes and smiled faintly. She said softly, "No matter how good an ally you are, you'll have to think twice before falling out with the Long family. People are friends when they meet, but enemies when they turn around." Su Yi wrinkled his nose and put his head on Yi Yi's shoulder. He said in an extremely weak voice, "If we have needs, we can naturally become friends. I'm not afraid of you being my enemy, I'm only afraid of you not having any desires." Suddenly, Yi opened her eyes, turned around and said, "Then tell me why you came to my Tianlan Sea City today. Now that the Chaos Realm is unified, it's all thanks to the Long family. It's all because of the Long family that the Sky Dragon sect and the Divine Tiger sect can be so unbridled. I have no choice but to leave the Chaos Realm temporarily. If the Chaos Realm is in trouble with the Spirit Treasures sect's deep foundation in the various continents, you should be able to notify me, right? Sui crossed his arms. A cold light flashed in his eyes as he looked at Tianjun Yi. Yi-Yi's body emitted a fierce wave of water yuan qi. She turned around and her deep eyes were as empty as the endless sea, unfathomable. The Tianfeng battle is over. It's reasonable to say that our wartime alliance is over. Yi slowly paced back and forth in the room with her slender legs. She lifted her chin from time to time and smiled at Sui. The Chaos Realm is not far from the Tianlan Sea region. Tianlan Sea City can help you. But to me, what good would it do for me to help you? Yi gently tilted her head as the corners of her lips curved into a sly smile. Indeed, even if the Chaos Realm is unified, it can't be compared to your Tianlan Sea City. I Sui am just a little brat. I can't help you much. This deal is not valid. Looking at Yi-Yi's expression, Sui naturally guessed what she meant. Chapter 2261. Family backing up. Now that he had the Golden Dragon Blessed Land and Tianlan Sea City to help him look after the Chaos Realm, it was just icing on the cake. But there was no need for Sui to sacrifice anything for Yi-Yi's little thoughts. When interacting with aristocratic families, one had to be neither servile nor overbearing, neither demanding nor demanding. Only then could one stand in an invincible position. Thinking of this, Sui shrugged and revealed a helpless expression. The water attribute yuan qi around his body gushed out once again. The majestic water condensing power was released instantly, and the bubble trembled along with it. Buzz! The sound of bubbles bubbling quickly set off ripples in the room. Yi cried out as she watched Sui leave. Wait! Yi-Yi's crescent brows furrowed. Her faint wrinkles were suffused with coldness. He had never thought that a top expert from one of the 5 great clans of Sky Horizon Sea City would actually be checkmated by a brat. Sui glanced at him and said with a slight smile, Heavenly Lord, do you still have instructions for me? Heavenly Lord and Sui looked at each other from afar. Heavenly Lord's expression slightly trembled as he looked at Sui and said, Take care of the Chaos region. If the Long clan invades again, not only will my Sky Horizon Sea City help you look after them, we will also help you delay them for a while. If that really happens, how are you going to repay this favor to my Sea City? I'll say it again. I have nothing on me, unless you want me as a person? Sui laughed loudly. Yi-Yi's gaze was somewhat profound. You rascal, but there is one thing I can ask you for help with. Yi-Yi's tense lips finally turned into a smile. The two gradually moved closer to the center of the room. Since there was something to talk about, the atmosphere naturally eased. Yi looked at the faint green light on the wall and gradually raised her voice. She said, You have the Chaos Region and Jutian Palace as your backing. The 5 great clans naturally have their own backing. As she spoke, Yi pointed at the boundless Sky Horizon Sea. On the wall, there were countless fresh species. The Sword Union relies on the 10,000 Sword Mountain. The Thunder Fire Temple has the advantage of the Endless Fire region. The Yun clan is the oldest among the great clans. All kinds of martial arts techniques have been passed down since ancient times. This is what they rely on. The Long clan relies on their shocking bloodline. Only my Sky Horizon Sea City relies on the sages and residents of Sea City to build it bit by bit. Sui frowned slightly and then said, Then what does Sea City rely on? This is a secret that only the Heavenly Lord knows. If I tell you today, you will have to help me even if you don't want to. Will you still listen? Heavenly Lord said faintly. Suddenly, a dangerous thought appeared in Suyi's mind. From the Sky Horizon Sea region to Sea City, so many strange things had happened. Could it be that the Heavenly Lord was plotting something? Seeing Sui hesitate, the Heavenly Lord laughed softly and then said with a smile, "You can go. For the sake of our previous friendship, I will ask the wandering spirits to help you look after the Chaos region. As for the Long Clan, Sky Horizon Sea City will not help you." The Heavenly Lord seemed to have guessed this outcome. A hazy fragrance rose, and the whole room surged with green light. In the round bubble room, all the images suddenly connected together to form a boundless picture of the deep sea. Sky Horizon Sea City is the hard work of the people of the Chaos region for thousands of years. We can't lose anything because of this. Go, Lord Su. Yi said faintly. The order to leave had been given. Su-yi suddenly looked up at Yi and said faintly, "Is what the Heavenly Lord wants me to do related to the giant beast in Sea City?" Yi-yi's retreating figure suddenly stopped. She looked back at Su-yi in shock and said seriously, "How do you know?" Su-yi smiled faintly and said, "Sky Horizon Sea City has the Lingbao Pavilion in its hands. It already has all the treasures in the world. What else doesn't it have? You just said that you have something to rely on. The only thing that you can't get is this giant beast." The corner of Su-yi's mouth curled up slightly. He pointed his chin at the picture of the deep sea and said, "The giant beast is what you rely on, right?" After a while, Yi-yi's eyes dimmed. She said softly, "It seems that you want to help? There's no harm in saying it. If I can help, I will help." Su-yi smiled faintly. "The giant beast is indeed what we rely on, but there's one thing you don't know. Where did the giant beast come from?" Yi took a deep breath. As she spoke, Yi's tone became more and more serious. She looked at Su-yi and said, "Sea City wasn't originally here. It wasn't until 7,000 or 8,000 years ago that our ancestors found the deep sea whirlpool and discovered the existence of the giant beast that they settled here. Then every time this giant beast is in trouble, it's not protecting Sky Horizon Sea City? It's just protecting itself?" The more Sui heard, the more surprised he was. Sky Horizon Sea City was actually so mysterious. Yi smiled faintly at Sui and said, "Of course this giant beast isn't protecting Sky Horizon Sea City. Sky Horizon Sea City is just borrowing the giant beast's protection. Then what's so special about this giant beast?" Chapter 2266. Yi told Su-yi that Sky Sea City had explored the mystery of the giant beast countless times in the past few thousand years. Anyone who entered would either die or be crippled. No matter how high their cultivation was, they would still be injured. However, after generations of exploration, Sky Sea City was finally able to determine the origin of the giant beast. If I'm not wrong, the giant beast should be the guardian beast of Sky Wind Martial Pavilion, the desolate swallowing heaven beast. Yi said word by word. Sky Wind Martial Pavilion? Su-yi's body quivered. Su-yi immediately realized that something was wrong. When he left Yutian Palace, Duanmu Qingtian had asked Shangguan Tianchen to tell him. Duanmu Qingtian had found a shell in the sea, and on it was a fragment of the Sky Wind Sword Intent and the Domain Pearl. Shouldn't the Sky Wind ruins be in the sea? Su-yi was skeptical. Yi's eyes moved slightly as she looked at Su-yi and said, "You know the secret of the aristocratic families very well? However, you also said that it was only the Sky Wind ruins. The Sky Wind Martial Pavilion was indeed located on the sea back then. However, the ruins were already in ruins before the war. Only the 5 aristocratic families know about this." Yi looked at Su-yi strangely. She didn't know how Su-yi knew about the Sky Wind ruins. After the Sky Wind Martial Pavilion was destroyed, the 5 aristocratic families had gone to the ruins many times to explore the secrets of the pavilion, but to no avail. Then continue. Could it be that there are many Sky Wind ruins? Su-yi asked impatiently. Yi looked at Su-yi with growing interest and said, I said that the desolate swallowing heaven beast was the guardian beast of Sky Wind Martial Pavilion. It had the ability to swallow the universe and shake the heavens and the earth. We believe that the reason why the Sky Wind Martial Pavilion was reduced to ruins before the war was because more than half of the pavilion was swallowed by the desolate swallowing heaven beast. Therefore, when the 5 aristocratic families arrived, the Sky Wind Martial Pavilion was already in ruins. Back then, the aristocratic families, including the Long family, thought that the pavilion destroyed itself, but Sky Sea City didn't think so. This secret has been kept by Sea City to this day. After hearing all this, Su Yi's heart was in turmoil. Curiosity and questions welled up in his mind. Then why do you want to open this secret now? Yi smiled bitterly and helplessly. She continued to look at the sea that filled the wall and said softly, "The Long family's power is growing stronger and stronger among the aristocratic families. The suppression of the bloodline was the most terrifying of all. What does Sea City have? Today, it's your Chaos region. Tomorrow, if Ocean City is in trouble, will the other aristocratic families come to help?" Su Yi was silent. Yi continued to speak. "In this vast sea, I must have something to rely on. The desolate engulfing heaven beast and the Tianfeng Martial Pavilion's ruins must be taken by Ocean City." Yi Yi's eyes glowed with determination. Seeing Yi Yi's resolute expression, Su Yi suddenly thought of the true descendant of Tianfeng Martial Pavilion, Xiahong House. Back then, when the Sky Wind Martial Pavilion supported your 5 families and joined forces with the Long family to destroy the Martial Pavilion, I didn't see your Sky Wave Sea City shrink back at all. Now you're afraid of the Long family?" Su Yi said coldly. "You!" Yi Yi's eyes suddenly widened as she pointed at Su Yi. Then, she lowered her jade-white hand and said seriously, "The matter of our ancestors is in the past. The heaven-suppressing golden stone symbolizes strength. Now that I can't find it, I'll do it for him. I want to ensure that Ocean City doesn't fall. This is what I rely on." "Good. What do you want me to do?" Su Yi said faintly. Then, the energy around his body surged along with Yi Yi's water attribute aura. The water attribute energy that bounced back was fierce and vast, bringing with it a natural desolation aura. Yi Yi's eyes revealed a trace of light. "What Elder Ing said is true. Can you really cultivate in the deep sea region?" Yi looked at Su Yi in disbelief, a feeling of expectation rising spontaneously. Following Yi Yi's gaze, Su Yi sized himself up and nodded. "What do you want me to do?" "Dive into the deep sea region and find the whirlpool. The whirlpool is where the desolate engulfing heaven beast is, and the Tianfeng ruins are in its stomach. As long as you can return safely, you can leave the rest to Tianlan Sea City," Yi said. Suddenly, 3 voices sounded in Su Yi's mind at the same time. "You can't go. It's dangerous. Go and die. Brother Devil and the little girl told you not to go. There are records of the desolate engulfing heaven beast in the demon-vanquishing fantasy tome. That thing is almost no different from a divine beast. I beg you, don't provoke this kind of thing." Qi Feihong's face was full of nervousness, fearing that Su Yi would quickly agree. After the Iron Soul puppet's Ling Qianxue's voice floated out, there was no more sound. Su Yi's throbbing heart instantly rippled. The battle between heaven and man made him somewhat embarrassed. Tianfeng Martial Pavilion involved the 5 great families and was the continent's #1 sect. Naturally, there were unlimited benefits to go there. If he didn't go, he wouldn't have to help Ocean City. The Chaos region only had 1 less helper to supervise them. "You really don't want to go?" Su Yi's soul looked at Qi Feihong in his mind. "No." Qi Feihong shook his head like a rattledrum. His eyes were filled with fear. "I have the demon-vanquishing fantasy tome and the Origin Supreme technique. I won't be in danger." Su Yi tried to persuade Qi Feihong. Then, Su-yi raised his eyebrows and said softly, "There are endless treasures and herbs there. I'm not going. Don't bother me. I'm a soul body. I want to stay alive." Chi Feihong frowned. Suddenly, Su-yi raised his head. Yi thought Su-yi had finally agreed, but Su-yi said faintly, "Lord of Heaven, I want to ask you something." "Go ahead. Is there a glazed sky stamen in Tianfeng Martial Arts Pavilion?" Su-yi looked at Yi. Chi Feihong's ears instantly perked up. Yi nodded ambiguously and said seriously, "The glazed heavenly stamen was originally an item from the ancient times and had long since disappeared from the ancient times. It's possible that Tianfeng Martial Arts Pavilion is the #1 sect in the continent. Do you need such an item?" Suddenly, Su-yi nodded without hesitation and said softly, "I'm going to this vortex." "Really?" Yi-Yi's lips curled up, and her eyes were filled with surprise. "Uncle Hong, Qianxue and you both need this glazed sky stamen." "I can't not go," Su-yi said. Chi Feihong naturally knew what Su-yi meant. If a miraculous item like the glazed sky stamen was easy to find, Su-yi wouldn't have been empty-handed after so many years. Now, it was most likely in the stomach of the desolate engulfing heavenly beast. What exactly was hidden in the most ancient Tianfeng Martial Arts Pavilion? In the end, Chi Feihong compromised. After a discussion, Su-yi and the Lord of Heaven walked out of the blue bubble. Looking at Su-yi's back view, Yi-Yi's eyes glowed. She was overjoyed. He agreed? In Wuxiu entered the room with joy in his eyes. Chapter 2267. Yi nodded and looked at Ing Wuxiu. If he can return safely from the explosion of the 10 jade pavilions, he might be able to bring about great changes to Ocean City in the deep sea region. Both of them nodded at the same time as their eyes shone brightly. Outside the bubble, Lon Balian brought Su-yi to another place in the underground palace. "You really agreed?" Lon Balian looked at Su-yi worriedly. As a successor heavenly lord, Lon Balian naturally knew the secrets of Ocean City. Su-yi took a sip of Ocean City's unique drink and said softly, "If I don't go, who else in Endless Sky Sea City can find the desolate eater beast? Only a freak like you can go." Lon Balian lowered her head and said softly, "Only a freak like you can go." Lon Balian drew circles on the table and mumbled softly, "Actually, there might be others who can go as well." "You're Jun Haotian?" Su-yi teased. Suddenly, Lon Balian's face turned red. She looked at Su-yi and said, "What are you talking about?" Looking at Lon Balian's shy face, Su-yi recalled how Lon Balian looked at the entrance of Ocean City. He said softly, "Are you talking about Duguyuma?" Lon Balian's face froze, and a hint of panic flashed in her eyes. "Tell me, is it Miss Yuma?" Su-yi asked anxiously. Lon Balian looked like a girl who had done something wrong. She stared at Su-yi and said, It can't be her, right?" Lon Balian gritted her teeth and said, "After you disappeared from the Tianfeng battle, Miss Yuma came to Ocean City to look for me. In order to relieve the depression in her heart, I've been taking her around High City. After a long time, she became familiar with the strange sounds in Ocean City. As it turned out, Duguyuma came to look for Lon Balian. Duguyuma found out about Ocean City's secret from Lon Balian. Then why did he go look for the desolate, devouring heavenly beast?" Lon Ilian frowned and looked at Su-yi pitifully. She said seriously, "She has the blue crystal twin moon pupils, you know that, right? When I brought her into Sea City, she saw what was in the whirlpool. Moreover, she can tell where the deep-sea whirlpool is strong and where it is weak. She is even more familiar with it than I am." "So you let her take the risk for Sea City?" Su-yi raised his voice and looked at Lon Balian reproachfully. Lon Xiaolian quickly waved her hand. She was so anxious that she was about to cry. She said softly, "No, no. I told her that there were terrifying sea beasts there and told her not to go there. She's my friend, how could I harm her?" Then why did she leave again? Sui asked. Later on, before he left, he asked me if I knew where to find the heavenly stamen glaze. I told him that it was an ancient item and was very rare in the world. It could only be found in ancient ruins. Instantly, Sui frowned and said softly, "What nonsense are you talking about? Her master died tragically, and my whereabouts are unknown. She came to find you to relieve her boredom." Sui paced back and forth in the room as he told Lon Balian. Duguyuma already had the will to die. This was a knot in her heart. Since she knew about the desolate devouring heavenly beast and knew that the heavenly stamen glaze was an ancient item, it was very likely that she would go in. It can't be. I sent her out of the sea region. Could it be that she turned back? Lon Balian was so anxious that tears came out of her eyes. Thinking back, she knew that there was an 80% chance that Duguyuma would enter Ocean City. Wait a moment. I'll get someone to ask. Lon Balian pursed her lips tightly, and her face instantly turned pale. Sitting in the room, Suyi's heart was also filled with blame and guilt. The matter of him needing the heavenly stamen glaze must have been brought up by Situ Muyang to Duguyuma. Otherwise, after he disappeared, why would Duguyuma come to Ocean City to look for Lon Balian? Miss Yumo risked her life for me. How can I not find the desolate, devouring heavenly beast? Sui looked solemn. Da. Lon Balian quickly returned to the room. Her eyes were grave as she said to Sui with an ashen face, "Half a month ago, Yu Bing saw Yuma in the deep sea region. She had my keepsake, and Yu Bing didn't stop her. She must have gone to look for the desolate, devouring heavenly beast behind my back." Phew! Sui took a deep breath and stood up. He said, "Quickly bring me to the deep sea region. I'm worried about Miss Yuma." "All right." After speaking, the two of them didn't stop. Lon Balian commanded Yu Bing to bring Sui out of Sky Sea City, while Lon Balian was bringing Sui to the deep sea region. After a long while, above the blue sky, several Yuan Chi lights appeared in front of the Supreme Underground Palace. The lightning-like light surged in front of the underground palace and was released like electricity. The surrounding ancient and abundant chi of heaven and earth was instantly destroyed and turned into ripples in space. All of a sudden, hundreds of spirit-swimming fish soldiers appeared from all directions. The patrolling soldiers looked at each other and looked at the experts who had suddenly appeared. Their hearts were filled with fear and anger. Boom! Their green eyes were like searchlights as they looked at Long Kuei, Hu Chi, and the wall ghost. A Yu Bing soldier stood in front of him with a trident, and an unparalleled destructive force turned into a wave of water that locked onto Long Kuei and the others. Rumble! Like a roaring python that wreaked havoc in the world, the terrifying force smashed a deep hole in front of Long Kuei and the others, preventing them from moving forward even half an inch. Hundreds of Yu Bing soldiers, who were obviously the elites of each patrol team, burst out with powerful waves of chi as they stared at Long Kuei and the others covetously. "Who are you?" A rough-looking Yu Bing soldier's eyes flashed with cold light as he constantly searched Long Kuei's body. Long Kuei narrowed his eyes, and a faint golden light circulated around his body. The shocking power of the thunder made people shudder. "Yu Bing soldiers, the most loyal guards of Sky Sea City. Seeing you today, you really live up to your reputation." Long Kuei smiled faintly. Zeng! As soon as Long Kuei's voice fell, hundreds of green lights rushed out. In an instant, turbulent and fierce chi of demonic chi quickly surrounded everyone. In the encirclement, Hu Chi and Spear Ghost looked at the ferocious Yu Bing soldiers and said coldly, "Let In Wuxiu come out to see us." Bang! As soon as Spear Ghost finished his words, an explosion immediately arrived. A large area of the void was shattered instantly, and the light of the trident was already at Spear Ghost's throat. Looking down, the cold aura of the trident was destructive and domineering. Spear Ghost gently flicked the edge of the trident and said, "Little manfish, I advise you to put away your spear. When it comes to using spears, I am your ancestor." Behind him, a gloomy laugh suddenly sounded. The light in Long Kuei's hand instantly shattered the trident. Ding! A crisp sound resounded throughout Sky Wave Sea City, like sparkling fragments drifting through the air. All the spirit-swimming fish soldiers present were stunned. The one who had just attacked was the commander of the Yu Bing soldiers, who had the strength of a LV9 demon grandmaster. How could it be so easily shattered? Chapter 2268. Be alert! A hoarse voice burst out from the spirit-roaming commander's throat. Suddenly, hundreds of spirit-roaming fish soldiers lined up in a strange formation. In an instant, the void collapsed. Hundreds of eerie blue lights surged between heaven and earth. Hundreds of fish soldiers stood high up in the sky, and their suppressive sound waves swept out like thunder. Boom! Facing the sudden formation, Hu Qi and Elder Spear Ghost's aura surged, and a domineering soul suppression came from all directions. "I'll do it. You guys back off." Long Kuei stopped Hu Qi and Elder Spear Ghost and rushed into the sky. Facing each other in the sky, Long Kuei glared at them. His calm face was filled with murderous intent, and an unparalleled domineering aura came crashing down like a mountain. Roar! A huge golden dragon roared and roared, and a huge heavenly aura swept across the sky, heading straight for the Fishmen formation. "It's the Long family. Everyone be alert!" the fish soldier commander shouted. In an instant, hundreds of fish soldiers were shocked. Facing the golden light, all the fish soldiers at the scene burst out with all their water elemental yuan qi at the same time. "Leave no one from the Long family alive!" the fish soldiers shouted. Their aura was vigorous, and their killing intent was thick. In an instant, hoarse shouts fell, and the destructive aura of the combined attack was like thunder, piercing through the space and heading straight for the ferocious dragon head. Boom! The domineering shockwave shook the space, and the huge space rippled slowly. The dazzling light was torn into nothingness by the collision. Ah! At this moment, most of the fish soldiers were defeated. A horrifying aura of death appeared in the depths of everyone's soul. Their hair stood on end, and their hearts were filled with horror. "Hold on!" The leader of the fish soldiers got up and looked at Long Kuei with horror in his eyes. His deep green eyes were filled with fear. Long Kuei's attack actually made the 9th-tier demon ancestor realm Murloc commander retreat hundreds of meters. The scales on his rough body were torn, and blue blood splattered. Apparently, he was seriously injured. "Fishmen, I don't want to kill you, but if I don't do this, some people won't come out." Long Kuei glanced at the top of the underground palace from the corner of his eye. Then, the aura of a golden dragon rushed out of his body like thunder. It was obvious that he wanted to kill. Bang! The gigantic and ferocious dragon head rushed out again. The dragon body, which was over 1,000 meters long, was vivid and lifelike. It opened its bloody mouth and looked like a golden vortex, about to swallow all the merpeople. Chi-la! The terrifying golden dragon's body spread out, and with a loud and clear dragon's roar, the dragon's claws swiped at the crowd. Boom! At the same time, in front of the scorching supreme underground palace, mysterious runes flickered and suddenly burst out with a shocking blue light. What followed was a giant hand that was as huge as a tidal wave that rose up from the ground. The dragon's body blotted out the sky and covered the earth, and the dark blue handprint grabbed toward the dragon's body like shackles. A domineering aura of destruction rippled out, and the vast land was instantly filled with huge waves, as if the heavens and earth were collapsing. Chi-la! In an instant, the merpeople and Elder Hu Qi retreated quickly. The handprint and the golden dragon exploded in the cracked space. Under the loud explosion, the space in the deep sea rippled. Chi-la. The aftershock of the energy spread out for thousands of meters. The injured merpeople coughed out blood continuously, and Hu-Chi and the rest were shocked as well. Between heaven and earth, water fell like a curtain, mixed with golden light rain. The destructive energy made everyone's heart skip a beat. Looking at the destructive aura, Hu-Chi and Elder Hu-Chi looked up solemnly. Fortunately, they dodged in time. Otherwise, they would be in big trouble. Finally willing to come out? Long Kuei smiled and looked at the figure behind the falling water. He waved his long sleeves and stood proudly. The handprint disappeared, and a sage-like figure appeared in front of the merpeople. It was Ing Wuxiu, who had rushed out from the underground palace. "It's Elder Long Kuei. Please excuse me for not going out to meet you." Ing Wuxiu cupped his hands and smiled. His legs, which were hidden in his loose robe, were trembling slightly. It seemed that the attack just now was not easy. Ing Wuxiu looked up and tried to remain calm. Long Kuei's attack was to show Sky Sea City who was in charge. The arrival of the Long family was probably not a good thing. Then, Ing Wuxiu looked at Long Kuei calmly and tried to hide his doubts. The Supreme Underground Palace is famous in the Sky Barbarians. Seeing it today, it is indeed extraordinary. Long Kuei sneered. "May I know what the great elder of the Long family is here for? Is there a need for such a formation?" Ing Wuxiu asked coldly. Suddenly, all the merpeople present were shocked. The person who came was the great elder of the Long family. No wonder he had such powerful combat strength. Long Kuei looked at Ing Wuxiu's calm expression and was slightly surprised. He said calmly, "Today, the Long family is here to discuss something with the Lord of Heaven. Please lead the way." Discuss something? Countless thoughts flashed through Ing Wuxiu's mind. Su-Yi had just left, and the Long family was here. Was it related to Su-Yi? Taking a deep breath, Ing Wuxiu's face turned ugly. He immediately led the way and said, "Let's go. The Lord of Heaven is in the Supreme Infinite Palace. Elder Long Kuei, follow me." After leading Long Kuei, Hu-Chi, and the others into the Supreme Infinite Palace, Ing Wuxiu asked them to wait in the blue bubble while he went to ask the Lord of Heaven to come out. Spitting out a mouthful of blood, Ing Wuxiu came to the Lord of Heaven's room and kowtowed. "Lord of Heaven, Long Kuei is here." Yi came out of the room and looked at Ing Wuxiu, who was covered in blood. Her eyes turned gloomy and she whispered, "Have a good rest. I will be back soon." After the Lord of Heaven left, Ing Wuxiu sat in the Lord of Heaven's room and began to heal himself. Creak. After a long time, the Lord of Heaven came back. Ing Wuxiu immediately stood up and looked at the Lord of Heaven weakly. The Lord of Heaven whispered, "They left? Are they here to look for Su-Yi?" Ing Wuxiu asked. The Lord of Heaven sat down slowly and a heavy atmosphere filled the room. He said, "They asked me if I had seen Su-Yi. Did you tell them?" Ing Wuxiu started to get anxious. Yi turned her head with a complicated look in her eyes as she silently nodded. Since you have promised Su-Yi, why did you tell Long Kuei?" Yi's body trembled slightly. She looked at Ing Wuxiu seriously and said, "Long Kuei promised us that the Long family would never make things difficult for Tianlan Sea City. That's it? You are going to break your promise? You don't care about Su-Yi's life?" Ing Wuxiu roared. The wounds on his body burst open and blood splattered again. Yi turned around. She didn't want to face Ing Wuxiu. She whispered, "Brother Xiu, we are husband and wife. There are some things that I can't hide from you. Su-Yi and the Long family will fight. If we can stay out of it, Tianlan Sea City will be able to reap the benefits." Chapter 2269. That's all. Ing Wuxiu grew even more enraged. Yi turned to face Ing Wuxiu. "What do you think are the chances of Su-Yi finding the desolate devouring heavenly beast and coming back alive?" "Less than 40%. Ing Wuxiu whispered. The desolate engulfing heavenly beast was an ancient mythical beast that no one in Tianlan City could defeat. In Wuxiu was not confident that he could defeat Su Yi alone. Without the desolate engulfing heavenly beast, Tianlan City has no one to rely on. When the war begins, the wisest decision would be for us to stay away from each other. There is another important reason that I cannot refuse, Yi said. In Wuxiu looked at Yi and heard her say, Su Yi has the water-suppressing heavenly stone and the Long family has promised to give it to us. All they want is the whereabouts of the heavenly stone. You believe that? In Wuxiu scoffed. How could Su Yi have the water-suppressing heavenly stone? Even if he did, the Long family had captured Su Yi. Why would they give it to Tianlan City? Yi shook her head and said, The Long family has captured Su Yi in Tianlan City. If they don't hand over the water-suppressing heavenly stone, would I let them go? So, this is our only chance. After saying that, a terrifying murderous intent surged out from Yi's body. In Wuxiu looked at Yi, his heart filled with melancholy. Is this a blessing or a curse? Sigh. In the deep sea domain, the turbulent undercurrent locked Su Yi in place like a thunderbolt. Amidst the dark tide, an infinitely terrifying void surged around Su Yi's body. Even if he could withstand the tearing of his flesh and blood, the agitation in his heart was even more terrifying when he was hundreds of thousands of meters deep in the sea. There are so many undercurrents here. I'm afraid the whirlpool of the desolate engulfing heavenly beast will be difficult to find. Qi Feihong's eyes lit up. Under Su Yi's control, the chaos ancient bell spun at high speed and enveloped Su Yi. Under the protection of the ancient bell, Su Yi's entire body was covered in golden patterns, and the majestic aura of the golden dragon was hovering around him. No matter how terrifying the surrounding space was, Su Yi was still safe and sound. Search carefully. With the Origin Supreme technique, I can vaguely sense the existence of the vortex. Su Yi's gaze fell on the dark space around him, and a faint sense of unease welled up in his heart. Su Yi moved forward while Qi Feihong helped Su Yi pay attention to the changes in the surroundings. In such a bottomless darkness, any strange change was enough to be fatal. Suddenly, Qi Feihong's eyes were fixed on a thin golden light far away. He said softly, Someone is coming. Qi La. Stopping his footsteps, Su Yi's soul spirit quickly spread out. In the violent ocean currents, Su Yi's eyes revealed a dignified look. He had already entered a very deep place in the deep sea. The person who came couldn't be Yu Bing. Then, who was this light? Was it an enemy or a friend? Carefully sensing the aura behind him, the disturbance of the aura in the violent ocean currents was extremely strong. It was impossible to distinguish who was coming. Su Yi's stern face revealed a chilling intent. He said softly, Let's wait for him here. Boom. The golden dragon aura retracted, and the Origin ancient bell circulated with blue light. The ancient aura of the water heaven-suppressing stone spread out. Su Yi's figure merged with the cloud shadow treading frost. Swish. The water turned invisible. In the deep sea, a blue energy light flashed and disappeared. In the violent space, Su Yi's trace disappeared. Boom boom. In the deep sea, the water waves surged. The waves of the ocean currents overturned the space, and the might was overwhelming. In the darkness, faint golden lightning suddenly came from behind Su Yi. As the figure kept getting closer, the golden light in the distorted space gradually expanded. Strange, why haven't I found him yet? In the midst of the surging golden light, a graceful female figure appeared around Su Yi. The golden light carried a powerful destructive aura. In the gorgeous scene, the figure seemed to be looking around. The female voice sounded again, Damn it, could it be that he has found the desolate swallowing heaven beast? Qi La. In the torrent, a storm-like blue ice crystal suddenly appeared in the air. In an instant, a mighty aura filled the sky. A resplendent golden dragon aura rushed to the location of the female figure. Just at this moment, Su Yi's eyes surged with killing intent. His hand suddenly grabbed at the female figure's throat. Ah! In the darkness, the female martial artist obviously did not expect someone to be there. A warm and dazzling light flashed in front of her eyes. She turned her body subconsciously and happened to be caught in Su Yi's arms. He grabbed the female martial artist's throat. The warm and soft touch shocked Su Yi. The golden dragon light was hazy and illusory. Su Yi looked at the familiar golden waves in front of him. The familiar fragrance on her body reminded Su Yi of that name. Long Ye. Su Yi. The two of them said at the same time. Su Yi withdrew his force. Long Ye gradually turned her head in Su Yi's arms and looked at the man in front of her in disbelief. Long Ye's heart was in a state of panic. Even in the darkness, he could feel Long Ye's panic. Two warm golden lights flickered in the torrent. Long Ye looked at Su Yi and lowered her head subconsciously. Why are you here? Su Yi was very confused. If he did not hold back just now, Long Ye would have been injured. Long Ye, who was awakened by Su Yi, returned to normal. She looked at Su Yi anxiously and said, "Let's go. My grandpa and the others are also in Sky Sea City. They are here to catch us." Looking at Su Yi's confused expression, Long Ye pulled Su Yi's arm and said, "It's true. The Heavenly Monarch made a deal with my grandpa and the others. My grandpa wants people, and they want the water heaven-suppressing stone." Suddenly, Su Yi's eyes darkened. A chilling, killing intent shrouded the surroundings. He said softly, "How did you know?" "I secretly followed my grandpa all the way here. When I heard that the Heavenly Monarch made a deal with them, I immediately rushed over," Long Ye said firmly with light in her eyes. "You Bing and Grandpa did not notice?" Su Yi looked at Long Ye. She did not seem to be lying. Swoosh! Long Ye raised her hand, and a golden dragon vital energy cloak wrapped around her body. Immediately, her body and aura disappeared into nothingness. The Long Ben Army's special hiding method. Elixirs similar to the Shuttle Shadow Elixir are not only available in the Yutian Palace. After saying that, Long Ye removed her vital chi and reappeared in front of Su Yi. At this time, Su Yi's heart was completely cold. Since the Heavenly Monarch changed sides so easily, why should he look for the desolate engulfing heavenly beast for them? "Let's go. Let's go out. This time, not only my grandpa, but also the people from the Sky Dragon sect and the Divine Tiger sect are here." Long Ye became more anxious as she spoke. After thinking about everything, Su Yi shook his head and patted Long Ye's shoulder. "Thank you, Long Ye. You came to tell me this. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.